Settings are good. And I believe we are live. So, what's up, you guys? We are Godzilla Fan Freaks, and thank you for joining me live for Kaiju Chill O'Clock, episode 26. Boy, special guest, Jim Jenkins here. You know him, you love him, Uncle Jim from G-Fest. G-Fest original right here.
Yeah.
And really happy to have you on the show, man. Thanks for
having me.
He was just driving through, and we actually have a live audience. You guys don't see him, but Hugo is here,
Hey.
and we have a live audience in front of us.
He had me sent out here on his private jet, dude. He had me flown out.
But no, guys, we don't have anybody on in here yet, but that's okay. But like always, you guys, atomic blast that like button when you are in here. Please feel free to ask questions, whatnot. And yeah, so we can just get started on, is there anything, I don't have any movies or anything lined up for today. We got one person, Reptile7876, what's going on? So, yeah, no, Jim here, he's a G-Fest original. You know, I met him my first year and just kind of made it a point to connect after that, and we've always talked and connected online. Hey, what's going on, Amber?
Amber!
But yeah, no, and Jim's just a great, funny guy. You know, he knows Greg at Eggsy and Japanese Imported Toys. You know, all of us have gotten together and shot the shit and stuff like that. We got 4 people on in here, 2 likes, atomic blast that like button, you guys, and Jim just let us know, like, you know, where did it all begin for you? To give us your story.
My story of Godzilla, my whole fandom?
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? Yeah, I was first grade probably, and 5 years old. My sister had walked me home from school, and I grew up in Southern California, so we had Los Angeles stations playing in our town, you know, that were affiliates. And first movies that I ever remember seeing was, was it 65 Godzilla versus King Ghidorah? You know,
Okay.
whatever you want to call it.
That was Monster Zero, yeah.
And it came on a daily double on that Friday on Channel 7, I remember, and with Voyage into Space, which is a giant robot, you know. And the thing is, I don't remember which one played first. I was introduced to both of those at the beginning.
Okay.
So I don't know which one of those I first saw, but I saw them at the same day, you know, during the same showing.
Cool.
Anyway, and then from there, of course, I fell in love. On my street, I lived in a regular suburbanite neighborhood, you know.
Okay.
And kind of like how you live here.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of friends, and they all liked superheroes and stuff. And I never cared for American superheroes. I always liked the Japanese monsters, you know.
Yeah.
That crazy, outlandish stuff. And and they kind of like that too, you know. So we, as kids, we'd reenact some of the scenes and we'd play and play monsters and whatnot. And always been a Godzilla fan, and then I was introduced to Mechagodzilla. And I remember my friend, we were getting ready to spar off, and I saw Godzilla. I had to call it out first, right? And he said, "I'm Mechagodzilla." And I'm like, I know Mechagodzilla because I hadn't seen the movie, right? And at this time, I wasn't going to movies or anything. I was a little kid. Like, you know, if my parents didn't like it, then I wasn't going to go see it.
Right.
You know,
okay.
So they wouldn't just like sit through something they weren't going to enjoy.
Right.
So I wasn't privy to all that stuff. But then one day in the TV guy, I saw Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I said, well, David was right. There is a Mechagodzilla, you know. So I watched it. I fell in love with, you know, the show of Mechagodzilla, '74, and from then on, man, it was just always Mechagodzilla for me. That show, you know, and it was just killer. And then my first model was the King Ghidorah, was the Aurora King Ghidorah. I was going to Godzilla, of course, because, you know, Godzilla's always our favorite, you know, ultimately our favorite. And I remember being at a Kmart in San Bernardino, and my dad says, my dad was a big model builder, and he says, "Hey, so what do you want? Do you want something?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I want that." I saw that King Ghidorah up there, and he says, "No, it was the Godzilla." And he said, "This?" I said, "No." And he goes, "This?" I said, "No," because I couldn't reach it. Right?
Yeah,
a little guy. And he says, "This?" And he showed. And I go, "Yeah, that one right there." And he pulls it down. And he looked at it. And he goes, "No, you don't want that crap." And then he put it back up, and I was like crushed. Dude. I was like crushed.
Oh man.
You know, and so I had to wait for my mom, because my mom was much more lenient and stuff. She just gave me what I want. So hey, Mom, I think I need some jeans or something like. So she took me back down to Kmart with the model section, and she said, I said, "I want this model." She's like, "I got a model?" I said, I didn't have no money at the time or whatever. She said, I was 8 years old or something like that, 9 years old. Of course I didn't. So she got me the King Ghidorah. Godzilla was gone, but the King Ghidorah was there, and I got that. I still have it to this day. The model I painted.
Yeah, I remember you showing that.
Yeah, some little pieces are broke off a little bit, but it's still there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Reptile 7876, we are doing great. I hope everybody else is doing great today. Jim is just sharing some of his backstory on where it all started for him. Monster Report, Nick from Monster Report, what's up?
What's up, Nick?
And then Amber can't stay on, but I'll watch periodically. Have fun. We will. We will have lots of fun.
Thanks.
There's topics to talk about. Just wanted to catch up on your guys' comments and everything. Ask questions. Yes. Pick Jim's mind. Pick my mind.
That's dangerous.
Careful.
I'll tell you.
But yeah, no, that's really cool. That's really cool.
So I just spawned from there. That was my first figure, and then '84, when the '84 movie came out, '85 here. I was at a comic shop, and I saw this little Godzilla figure over there, and it was the Bandai '84 Godzilla with the tag. I still got it, And little did I know that figure was going to become very desirable and worth a lot of money. And I just saved the tag for some reason, and that's how my collection grew from there. And but I was there actually buying paintball stuff. It was a paintball / comic book store, and I saw that Godzilla, and I was like, "What is that Godzilla?" And the lady goes, "I don't know what it is. $1.25." Like, yeah. So she just sold it. She didn't even have a tag on it, and she didn't even know where it came from. So I got it, because it was Godzilla. And then of course the Bandai stuff came out those years, I forgot what the series was called, but I got the '62 Godzilla.
Yeah, the old Bandai '62. It's like almost a little larger scale, and it's like all green.
Yeah,
it's got the silver, and its arms are like widespread like that. Yeah.
But I actually ordered the King Ghidorah, and the King Ghidorah came in. But it's the large
monster series.
I think it was large monster series too back then. I think that's what they called it. I'm sure. Some of the Greg Cordero or James Bond, they know that stuff. Maybe even Jordan Twiney, they know more of that stuff. But I got that, and the guy brought it to me. He says, "Yeah, it's $110," and they ordered it from Japan.
Yeah.
It was a hobby shop that I was at, and they brought it from Japan, and I was like, "Wow, I brought $50. I didn't think it was going to be that much. I never paid $50 for anything up to that point in my life.
Right.
So it was very expensive.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't afford that. He goes, "Well, we got another one, a Godzilla one." I said, "How much is that?" He goes, "It's $36, and that was the Bandai one, and it was pretty desirable for a while there too." Well, mine broke, and then I actually bought another one. Of course, when online stuff came, it was brand new too. So that's how and I started with Bandai. Like I said, I'm from Southern California, so down in LA they had a place called Pony Toy Go Around, Pony Toys, but for some reason I said Go Around on the card also. And I was big into Space Battleship Yamato.
Okay.
The anime stuff. And a buddy of mine lived next door. He says, "I have a friend who's into that too, and he can take you to LA and show you this place that has all that stuff." So he took me down there, and I went down there for Space Battleship Yamato. But over here, I saw right when I come up top of the escalator, I looked in the station, just like that Godzilla you have down there.
Okay. The big Bandai 64. Yeah.
I was standing there, I was like, that's my true love. Space Battleship Yamato was like my second, and I was like, I went there for that, but I'm here for this now. And then I walked in, and I seen all the Godzilla stuff, all the models. I never even knew the Band-Aids existed. And that was my baptism of fire. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going broke. That's all I thought, I'm going broke, And so I just started buying up stuff, man. Just buying up. It was just, they're all on pegs, pegboards and stuff. It wasn't like you had to go search for anything. It was like, oh, 5 of these or whatever. I just took one of each. And every paycheck, I'd go down and buy 4 or 5 figures.
Cool.
4 or 5 figures. And so my Bandai collection was huge. So when G-Fan came around, I had all this stuff already, and people had heard about it, but they didn't have access to it.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, I've heard there was this King Ghidorah, and there was this and that." I'm like, I got that, And of course, everything was done snail mail. And I said, "I got that. Can you get some pictures and send them to me?" So I take pictures of all my stuff, and I had more than everybody except a dealer. You know what I mean? There was a few dealers out there, and but as a private collector, I didn't know anybody who had any more than me. So then when I got dubbed the Kaiju King.
Okay.
And somebody out there is borrowing that name too right now, but that's all right, And so somebody gave me that name and said, "Man, you got everything. You're like the Kaiju King." And I was like, "I am the king, It's good to be the king." It was who said that? It was anyway, Spaceball guy.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks.
There you go. Yes.
So, but yeah, that's how it started, And I remember Greg Cordero hardly had, "I'm looking for a Baragon, Greg Cordero." I need a bear gun. He's begging people, I need this bear gun so bad. And I said, dude, I can't give you mine because I only got one, but I'll send you a picture of the whole thing. I used to have a shoebox full of, we used to pen pal together all the time, me, him, and some other guys. And that's kind of the core of what you see now in some of these groups is like those guys go way back to 95, 96, and like those kind of time. And those guys made it to all the G Fest. I didn't make it the first one, but in 96 I did, and then 98 I tried to do all the even years. Yeah. And then I just kind of went on a roll that I wasn't missing any for like 10 years, and then I just haven't been to any for a few years. But yeah, that's where my the X Plus coming on. That's all. Yeah.
And as you can see, Jim's a fan of X Plus. He's
I kind of like it. a little bit. But yeah, that was like the wave that came across, the X Plus thing. A guy named Brad Simmons, the one started up the group. Yeah. And I'd met him through, I think it was Toho Kingdom, me, him. There's another guy that's not there no more, so I forget his name. And there was like only 4 or 5 of us that brought into the original X Plus group. Yeah. And Brad started up that because people would come in this other group, they couldn't afford the figures, so they thought we were snobby. And that was kind of a rolling joke for the first year of the X Plus group. Was the Rich Isos joined with Samson West and awesome guys, and they came in and I remember Rich Iso came in, he had like 20 figures, man. He just like went out and just like, I don't know, mortgaged the house or something. Yeah, like no, I remember. Sold a kidney or something, I don't know, but he got some money together. He went, I got this now, I got this now, and he just came out, I was like, dang, dude, you caught up like quick. Right on, good for you, Good on you. And then he started his web channel, man, and he's exploded, He just such an excellent job of that stuff, and it's class stuff. And Samson, when I met him and Rich, they were like 2 peas in a pod, and they were just both cool dudes, young at the collecting age and stuff like that. But I seen a lot of myself in them at the time, and just the excitement and stuff is just that's what you go there for.
It's exactly what you go there for. Is for the excitement, is the happiness. Even if you see the little kids running around and they got a Mothra or a Godzilla, that just that's what it's all about, and that's why G Fest and other kaiju conventions and everything just bringing everybody together.
It just brings up the kid in everybody. Yeah. That's why adults do it, too. I have a picture I still have of a kid just zonked out. He spent, I don't know, he's had to be probably 3 or 4, and they had him, in a little Godzilla costume, little spikes in the back. It was something his mom made, It was completely inaccurate. Yeah. But it's Godzilla. It's Godzilla. It's the best thing that he's ever had up to that point in his life. And he's sitting there sucking his thumb, zonked out on her lap. And I snapped that picture because it just tells, it's a tale, man, right there. That kid was sensory overload. I understand a lot of you guys go to G-Fest, you walk into that dealer's room and it's sensory overload. You walk into Everett's, my friend here has never been into a room like this. He's never seen this stuff. I said, just wait, dude. I said, Everett's got a good collection. You walk in, right here goes sensory overload. It's like, you don't know where to look. And that's the way the dealer's room is. People walk in and they're like, oh, I'm over here. I'm over here. That's why people are bumping into each other. Me, I've always kind of kept my emotions in check, and I went into the room and I worked my way. Just so I don't miss anything. I mean, you still miss stuff. Yeah. Something will get sold, and the guy will pull something out from the bottom of the table and bring it out there. So you got to kind of keep going back and looking. Don't blow your wad all in one shot. When you go there, and just make sure you know what you want. Have a list of what you got to have. Yeah. Always have a list of what you want to have. Have a budget. All that stuff goes into effect, and there's just so many, good memories and fun memories. I was just, before we started the show, we were just talking and everything. And, I was telling Hugo and everything that Jim was there when I bought the X Plus Gappa that I have. Good stories of Jim helping out Greg at his table and how he almost sold a $500 figure for $5. Like $10 I think that's where the $10 a lot of money came from. But I'm going to say, was it Brian? I call him Brian.
Brian Shields?
No, Brian.
No, that's Brandon Shields. Sorry,
Brian. I call him Mustachio.
Brian. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his last
Brian.
name.
Sorry, dude. Sorry.
Hey, Brian, if you watch this,
sorry.
We'll make sure that we send. I'll share this with Greg and Brian after it's all said and done.
But anyways, I said, how much is it? Like $10? And he looked at me and goes, yeah, I guess, like that. So that's where that came from. And I handed it to the guy, and I think it was, who else is working that table with us? No, that doesn't
Was it Tim Crane?
Tim Crane. I think Tim came to the rescue. I think it was Tim. And he had a cape on, dude. Dude, that's not, you know, and not exaggerated, but still, you know, Tim. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, he said, no, I think he intercepted it and said, no. So I grabbed the other guy's hand. I said, well, he had money in here. He goes, no, I just bought that from him. No. And it was the little Titanosaurus, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, Greg doesn't put prices on anything.
Yeah.
Because the price is going to flex.
Yeah.
You know? And so he doesn't want anything locked in, I don't think. I don't know how you were. Yeah, I'm just saying. So I put it back on the thing. And yeah, it was in somebody else's hand for that amount. And yeah, that would have been bad on me. Although, it's never said that I would have paid for it. You know, I would have paid him $490 for that figure he lost. I had money on me, and I'm that kind of guy. I'll take care of you.
Yeah, you'll own up to it.
On that, yeah. But yeah, it's a running joke, and I was never invited back for some reason. I'm not here to give away my stuff, you know. I was like, I know, dude. But Greg's gracious, and he's a good dude, man. And, he's always giving kids stuff, you know. And, he sets little figures, like stuff that, you know, I ain't gonna try to sell it. I just give it away. He'll set them in like different, like he'll put them on the ground and out there in the patio. And kids are like, look what I found. I said, oh my God, that's awesome, you know. Yeah. Set up from the beginning, you know.
That's one thing that Greg has been known for. And if you have been to G-Fest and maybe you've seen a random Bandai figure or something just laying around, like someone just left it there. That's you. That's Greg doing like a little scavenger hunt almost type thing.
Yeah.
And he'll always go back and check and see if someone took it. He does it not even at G-Fest. He's done that where he's working now at Walmart.
Yeah.
He's taking figures to Walmart and just let them around.
Well, he puts them out there by where he used to live. He used to put them out by this tree out by the corner of his house or his yard. And people come by, joggers will like look at them and stuff. And they rearrange them or some stuff. Some people would take them. I don't know, but. Yeah, he's doing all kinds of stuff like that. It's fun.
Yeah, no, Greg he's a really cool guy. And again, I've mentioned him a lot on the show. And guys, if you go to G-Fest, Exian Japanese Imported Toys, that's the guy right there. Greg, he's great. One year, I actually got a good bundle together from his table. And I didn't necessarily have the budget for the Bandai the original Bandai Hedra. And, but he was nice enough to he just threw it because he knew how much I wanted it. So he threw it in there with a tag and he was like, here, man, you're buying all this. This is the least I could do. I know how much you want it. And so,
I've seen him work with kids and parents and stuff like that. And I come up with Owen Arm Spinner, you know, my character. Owen Arm Spinner. Look at the Godzilla right here. And they like to play with the you know, and I'm going to tell you guys, if you have kids, please keep them in check. Because these dealers, man, they come up there and they put their stuff. They don't want the arms going, you know, 360. You're going to break something. You probably got the budget to pay for it or you don't want to pay for it, and that's fine. So just keep your kids in check because that stuff, a lot of that stuff, you know, is worth money to these guys. Make a living off this stuff, you know, or help supplement their living. And they travel a long ways. They come from out of state to bring their stuff to sell and to have little kids just grab it. And they don't want to be a rude, you know, dealer and then go, hey, leave my stuff alone.
Yeah, exactly.
I would do, you know, because I have no problem, you know, being like that. Hey, leave it alone. Keep your little hands up, you know. Like they call my book guy on Simpsons, you know, keep your good little hands up.
Yeah.
So I use Greg's ponytail. Anyway, keep your kids in check. I mean, the kids need to be kept in check, man. And I mean, that's why he puts the cheaper stuff up front so they can kind of play with it.
And then keep some more
stuff like that.
Stuff back.
And he'll, you know, $10 a lot of money.
$10 a lot of money. Because that has been a thing at G-Fest. And then Jim's actually done some skit videos to where he's been a kid and he's spinning the arms and he's like, not very good articulations, you know.
And it's articulations, you know. It's not like articulate, you know. It's just that's the way a little kid. That's the way I see that they talk like that. You know? They get all, oh, and I remember one time we were working at the table and a kid grabbed his figure and he saw something else that grabbed his eye and he goes, oh, and he just drops it. Boom, and he goes to the other one and Greg's like, you know, I had to pet him, you know, scratch behind his ear, calm him down. But no, it's a real thing, man. And these dealers, they work their butt off, man. And they got to keep an eye on stuff, keep the prices in their head, keep maybe somebody from getting some sticky fingers. We've had that happen. You know, and it's not right, you know, to treat somebody's stuff like that. It's not yours yet. I mean, if you want to bend the arms around, you know, buy it and then go knock yourself out with that stuff.
Let's see here. Like always, you guys, you tune in. Atomic Blast that like button. Again, just have Jim Jenkins here. Original G-Fest Original guy. I don't mean the original Kaiju King.
Yeah.
I think who you were saying who has that now is Mike Ross. I think he's the Kaiju King now. I would
Mike
say.
Ross?
Yeah.
Mike Ross is a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him, I said, where did you get that Kaiju King? Because I have my badges from like '96, and they actually put Jim the Kaiju King Jenkins on my badge. You know what I mean? So I was like, did you ever go to '96? And you're like, no, I didn't get into this till. I'm like, yeah, kind of like the original deal. I was like, you can have it. I don't care. You know what I mean? So that's where we got it. You know, I was like, where'd you hear that from? You know, it's just kind of an odd thing to hear somebody else say that.
Yeah. Monster Report. Mel Brooks. History of the World Part 1. It's
Yes.
good to be the king. That's what it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then Zillafan85 in the infamous words of Scott Hall. Heyo! What's going on? Thank you for being here, you guys. Like always, you got questions for me, questions for Jim. I think I'm going to throw on something a little bit more active in the background versus this is the Symphonic Fury concert.
Yes, I was just listening to this, or actually watched this about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I haven't seen. Actually, I never even watched this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
But
they did a great job, man.
is there something that you're itching for? You
No.
Monster Zero, Hugo. Do you have any suggestions? Is there something that you'd like to see?
Oh my gosh.
Gargantuas, because I know you were talking about that. There's Frankenstein. There's
The Gargantuas, I think.
You want to throw on Gargantuas?
English dub.
English dub.
Yeah,
That's fine with me. I can totally do English dub Gargantuas
good
because
stuff. English dub.
I got the classic media release, and we all know that the Japanese cut that they have on that disc, it was such a dark.
Yeah,
It had like a dark tint
yeah,
over it.
yeah, dark print.
And
So-
Gyra just looks
Yeah,
looks like a shadow.
Yeah, kind of silhouette. Yeah, he's when they're fighting in the city, man. It didn't come out good at all.
So we're gonna have War of the Gargantuas on in the background, and
Nice.
It's good stuff, man.
and yeah.
I think the movie's paced excellent, man. It's probably one of the most and Monster Zero. They were both really good.
Yeah,
movies.
Monster
Paced-
Zero is good too.
just paced very well. There's really no dull,
dull moments.
fast forwarding moments.
And you know what's funny too is Russ Tamblyn. You know, like he's still around, and when people come around with Gargantua stuff, he's like,
He hates it.
he hates it.
Own it. No, that's the thing I never understood about actors. Own it. Like William Shatner, he owns it.
Yeah.
He owns Captain Kirk, man. He you know, the way he just acts. I mean, he's just. Who's another one some other actors out there that really like their character, and they just own their character that they were kind of typecast.
Exactly.
You know, and nothing wrong with that. Oh yeah, dude, I remember seeing that. Gatefold too. These are like new prints, right?
Yeah. Yeah. These are from Waxworks.
Okay. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Gatefold. So yeah, because I have a huge Iron Maiden collection, you know, and a lot of the imports and stuff are gatefold. That you couldn't buy them here in the United States, so yeah, picture disc too, huh?
Yeah. Color vinyl.
Yeah,
They're a little tight.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna pull it out of there, but that's nice.
And it's like this was one of the items that was like, you know, if I happen to somehow come across Russ Tamblyn, before the inevitable happens, it's like that'd be one of the things I'd have him probably sign it like right here. And even though he probably hate it, I'd be like, I don't care.
I'd find it, admirable that somebody would like to, that took an interest. You weren't even born.
No.
I wasn't even born. I gotta add that one in there too. But yeah, I think that I'd find that, endearing that somebody wanted me.
Yeah.
Just play the American version.
Oh yeah.
I like the music track on the American version better.
I do too.
Than the other one.
And you know what's funny too is that vinyl album and everything. I showcased it on the show once, and it has the full "I Have the Words Stuck in My Throat" song. So
yeah,
playing that with the crackle and pop of the vinyl, it's actually kind of sweet.
So does this really actually kind of crackle still?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what they do?
Oh yeah.
I guess that's the drag of the needle across the vinyl. So I remember when CDs came out. They were like, oh, you don't have that anymore. It's so much better.
Yeah.
But there's a purity to vinyl, the way they record it. I guess it sounds better than CD. Since CDs come out, I've never listened to vinyl. I've never taken any of my vinyl out and actually put it on a record player. So I don't recall what they sound like anymore. And but I know you have compression, musical or sound compression or something when you go digital, which kind of takes away from a lot of the true recording of the sound.
Right.
So
now we're where did like the movies begin with you with Monster Zero? That was your first.
That one or Voyage into Space?
Voyage into
giant,
Space.
The giant robo stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
It was Voyage into Space because they made a compilation movie out of all his series. You know, it was an hour and a half. So it was maybe like 3 or 4 different movies in Voyage into Space. But yeah, from there, and then I started as a kid. I started understanding. Of course, we didn't have the internet, you know, and cable was just starting to come on.
Yeah.
You know, we still had turn channel TVs, and so to watch anything. You know, your dad's home watching. You ain't watching nothing.
Yeah.
All you're there is change that channel. Hey, get up and change the channel. You know, you had 13 channels.
Yeah.
You know, then cable came out and you had 36 because we had a box that had like a selector level, and it's like from 1 through 12, you know, 13 through whatever, and then so on. You just kind of clicked it down. Well, my dad had a friend in the Air Force who knew how to open up the back of that box and say, now I got HBO and Cinemax for free. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's really easy to manipulate that, but. My mom got TV Guide subscription, and so I'd go through them. All I would look for, the Godzilla just kind of pops out on a page to me, and I used to cut them all out. You know, oh, I want that, I want that. And I had all these different ones, so I always remember the Godzilla movies. What time it was, I write it down what time. And sometimes I'd oversleep, but a lot of times they were movie till dawn, is the LA version, the KTLA.
Okay.
Movies till dawn, and I'd get up in the middle of the night, man. I'd set my alarm clock and get up and watch a movie. Yeah. You know. And go down to the Circle K, give me a bag of Cheetos or something like that. That's why I didn't do. Let off Cheetos a little bit, you know. A little bit too much of that stuff when I was a kid. But.
Oh man, let's see. So let's see. We have Zillafan85. So you missed the beginning of the stream. Who are your gentlemen callers? All right. So Zillafan85. This here is Jim Jenkins. He's a G-Fest original. Really good buddy. I met him my first G-Fest, which was 2013. Yes, 2013. And we just hit it off from there. Great guy. He showed me and my dad around a few things because we were newbies. So there was a lot of people that showed us a lot of things. You know, Joey Leonard was one. Mm-hmm. You were one. Even Greg was nice enough to lend us a hand and stuff. And that's just what it's all about. And then Monster Report. How do you like that Symphonic Fury concert video?
How do I like it?
Yeah.
Excellent job.
Because he's the one that he took the video.
Oh, he took the video? Yeah, you guys did a fantastic job. I love watching. I don't like listening to live music, personally. I love watching it. I love watching the musicians do their thing. Like to sit there with a CD and listen to it, I rarely, probably never do that.
Yeah.
And but to sit there and watch that stuff. Now the Ifukube stuff that they did, I've listened to that in my car a few times.
Yeah.
Now, and it's excellent stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, to sit there and watch the musicians do their job and who's doing what and what notes and what bars and what stuff that they do is very interesting. Like I said, I was in a band, for a few years with actually Hugo, and we were pretty successful with what we did, within our area. And I always loved to sit there and watch the other bands play, that were playing around us or during that same gig time.
Yeah.
And just love watching these guys just their finger work, and. Incredible, man. I just love watching musicians play.
That's
I don't
very
really
cool.
care what it is. I want to see them play.
Yeah.
Metal's the best, of course. And, but I'm just saying.
No argument there.
Right? It's the most diverse, and it incorporates everything.
Yeah.
A good metal band will incorporate everything, all kinds of different instruments and stuff like that. You can't do that with anything else.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to do the rap country crossover.
Yeah.
I guess it works for some people, but it's not my flavor.
And Jim didn't come empty-handed, but then at the same time he also did. It would have been a no-brainer for me not to ask him, hey man, what are you letting go of? And then he was just letting me know, and I picked out a couple figures. He still has them, but they're in his car because they took Hugo's car this morning.
Yeah, it was a last-minute swap, and I brain farted it.
So Jim's going to end up coming back on through and dropping me off some figures and stuff. But thank you for... I ended up getting the Crawling Baragon from him, which is kind of a hard figure to find these days. And then I got the Destroy All Monsters X Plus Manda.
Yes.
Both X Plus figures. And really...
Is that all you need?
There's more that I need. But, in due time,
Yeah, but I mean, for your Destroy All Monsters set.
Oh, no, I think there's... Well, I got a good amount of the lineup, and again, the Ghidorah from Destroy All Monsters, I got that from Greg. I did get that from Greg, but yeah, no, Manda's one of the key ones that, and when that X Plus Manda figure came out, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, that's awesome, but now you really don't like
Nobody
hear
really
you don't hear much about it. And I
Yeah.
think it's kind of it's an underrated figure because Amanda doesn't have a lot going on, you know, and it's like for Destroy All Monsters being one of I think his like most screen time of a movie, it's like, you know,
He broke a monorail.
he broke a monorail,
You
yeah.
know,
And then him and Godzilla have that off-screen, you know, deleted scene, I should say.
Yeah.
They did have a little scuffle. And
Yeah. Around a little bit. Yeah. But it's the ebb and flow of that stuff.
Let's see. Any chance that Jim has the SH Monster Arts 62 available for sale? And if so, how much? Jim is not really an SH Monster Arts guy.
The only thing I have from SH Monster Arts, I think, is the Burning Godzilla.
The Burning Godzilla.
From Comic-Con.
The whole orange one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Jim's always been more of a, you know, Bandai X Plus guy. You know, I think you either you might still have or you used to have some vintage stuff like bull marks and stuff like that.
I
never really
had
got
the
into
one.
it.
Name some other ones. Not bull mark, but
M1,
not M1.
Marmot, CCP.
Might be Marmot. It's a Marmot, but it's the original Godzilla figure, the very first Godzilla vinyl figure they made.
Imperial?
No, not American.
Not American. It's just Japanese.
The Japanese ones, the very first Godzilla toy they made. Is that Marmot or is that Bullmark?
Might be Bullmark. I think it would be Bullmark.
Okay, we'd have to ask James Bond or
Greg.
Somebody.
I think it would. Because I think I know what you're talking about. He has really stubby legs, and his head is like.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a Bullmark.
Yeah, the Bullmark. So that one, I got that, and Greg Cordero I've never seen a grown man at his weight class do a backflip. And oh shit! Until the day I bought that, and he got so happy. And just kidding, Greg. So he's like so killing me, dude. But no, man, I hate forgetting these guys. I'm on the spot thinking about this guy. I can't remember the guy who bought that. He had that figure. He brought it over to Greg's table. We were cleaning up at the end of the day, and Greg bought that figure from him. $200, $250 or something like that. And I saw it like that, and Greg was like, "Man, this is really good." I can't do his
impression.
This is really good stuff, you know. And sorry. He's got so killing. So he had it, and I go, "Oh man!" I said, "You just buy that?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Dang, I was getting ready to ask him if I would take that from you." I'll sell it to you. And he sold it to me for exactly. I mean, it literally changed three hands
in the matter
within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
He sold it to me right there. He goes, "What are you?" I go, "Funny, you got into the vintage." I'm like, "Yeah, vintage." And he's like, "Yeah." He was so stoked. You know, he started throwing Hulk Hogan into the.
Yeah.
I was like, "Dang, dude." So. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. So I still got that. Yeah,
Sweet.
That probably will never leave my collection.
Yeah, no, that's one of those things that. Yeah,
I'm liquidating everything. I'm just going minimal, you know. And I got so much stuff. I just accumulated Bandai. I got stuff in crates and totes and stuff like that I can't possibly display.
Right.
And just my whole life has changed within this last year.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of bad stuff happened. So I just want to go more spiritual. I want to go more. In the focus of not having so much stuff anymore.
Right, not materialistic and stuff
and
like that.
I was never in a competition with anybody. It's just I had the opportunity to buy stuff. I always kept myself employed. I always kept myself, debt free to where I could set money aside for this. You know, and I never ever sold anything. Why did you do that? Well, I lived in my car for 2 years, but I still collected Bandai. That ain't no joke. That was back in. You remember that? He was in the Army, right? And I was living in my car for a while. I actually kept one of my cars. I had a Challenger and a Dodge Charger. They were 71 and 72. And I kept him at his mom's house. I kept one at his mom's house. That was the hardest thing when I was homeless, was to find a place to sleep without cops rolling up on me.
Yeah.
I was still working. I was living out of my truck, but I didn't let anybody really know. I had to let him know, like, "Hey, dude, I lost my house, dude. And you think I can park my car at your mom's house?" And because she had a lot of property there. It was right behind our band room that we used to play in, you know. It was
Okay.
right over there. He's like, "Yeah, I'll talk to my mom." So I'll give her $20 a month or whatever, how much she wants, and keep my car safe anyway.
Yeah.
It was hard sometimes. I just had to park him down a random street and just park him for a couple of days, and so we would get towed and just keep moving him.
Yeah.
I did that for like 2 years until I finally moved down to Cali to Missouri.
Wow.
But I still would head down there every paycheck. You know, instead of getting me an apartment or something like that, I'd go down there and buying these figures and stuff, you know. And that was what was important to me, you know, because I can go to work. I was coming into work, and it was the first one at work, last one out. I was washing in the sinks, dude. Washing, you know, I know all about it.
Yeah.
So kind of like in this part of my life, you know, it's like, you know, 30 years later, it's like I'm not at that point. I'm more financially stable now than I have ever been in my life.
Right.
And some things happened with my ex-wife and all that stuff. And So I positioned myself. I had to sell my car. You know, my dad passed away, and just I had to take care of all his finances, all his stuff, and it just really taxed me really bad. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I got to just liquidate and just go to a simpler life. That's all it is. I haven't lost the interest in it. I don't know if I'll ever go to a G Fest again because the magic's not there for me anymore.
Yeah.
It's become like more cliquish than what I was used to.
Yeah.
So I was there before, you know, you couldn't have a video room.
Right.
Because bootlegs, they were being bootlegged. And but that was the only way we can get them.
Yeah.
You know, like, totally, you don't want a bootleg, offer them up to us, you know.
Yeah.
And make them, you know, where they have English and subtitles and stuff. And they were missing the market. Well, now they know, or they know now how the market is.
Mm-hmm.
And now, of course, it's not illegal to do that in G-Fest because the first couple ones that were there.
Yeah.
In '98, I think it was the first time they allowed cameras into the dealer's rooms. Nobody wanted any, you know, cameras in there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
No, that's cool, man.
it's progressed over the years and it's gotten better. You know,
Yeah.
JD Lee's done a really good job with it, I think, and everybody else who helps out with that stuff because it is an undertaking.
Oh, yeah,
for 3
it
days
is.
or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
it's
no,
an undertaking,
it's a lot, and I'm starting to learn that too. You know,
Yeah.
when I did the first festival here in Tucson, and
you said it was pretty good though.
oh yeah, we had like almost had to been over at least almost 500 or maybe even a little over 500 people that entire evening, and that was only from 5 to 11. So it was only
It wasn't a weekend, man.
yeah.
See, because in Chicago, everybody goes and gets hotels, you know,
Mhm.
and people are sitting around. And of course, the hotels, and they kind of maybe up their price, but you're getting a G-Fest rate. You know, not really, because
Yeah.
I've been to Chicago a billion times, and I've had hotels in there, some cheaper ones, and they were offering G-Fest attendees, but you don't want to haul your stuff across the street or down the road to your hotel room and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
When I was going there, man, I was dropping $1,000. You know, I bought my big old Burning Godzilla Bandai, my Memorial Edition, all that stuff there. I bought all kinds of stuff there,
Yeah.
and I thought this is what I have, and I saved money all year. I just kept putting back $5, $6 here, you know.
Yeah, and then
pennies.
Build
pennies,
up
I
a
would say
defense budget.
pennies make dollars. Remember, I wanted my change back. This one guy, my food came out to $6.99. You want that penny? I was like, yeah. Pennies make dollars, man.
Yeah,
And
pennies do.
it's every bit.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't want to carry it around with me, but when I start cashing them in, ooh, damn, I have that much, you know.
Yeah.
That
So
was always a creepy scene.
yeah, from underneath the water.
Yeah, the way they did
Oh,
that.
gosh.
I thought it was. So he's trying to rock the boat because he's hungry, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
swimming makes you hungry. So, I mean, he's gonna eat.
But yeah, so you guys have heard it from me. You guys have heard it from Jim. Because you always hear, you know, people want to make it to G-Fest one day or want to make it to this or that. Save your pennies. They add up in the end.
Yeah.
Save your coinage, you know?
Because you got to eat.
Yeah.
Food, you know, it's not cheap. Gas,
Oh,
ain't
boy.
not cheap now. And you got your rooms, so you got to get that covered. Maybe
Monster Report replying Bullmark to that Godzilla.
Bullmark, thanks,
That's
man.
what it is, Bullmark.
Yeah, I haven't messed with it so long. It's been packed away, and I haven't looked at it. And so thank you.
And then we got Reptile 7876. Recently watched Shin Godzilla again, and I love the film more and more each time. Definitely one of my favorites. That's great, man. You know, Shin doesn't appeal to everybody. What did you think of
I
Shin?
think Shin is the most realistic Godzilla movie ever made. Okay, and I mean, digress a little bit by saying the military scenes where I thought was how I would attack Godzilla. I think how the military would actually attack Godzilla. These movies, man, and they've been doing it in the MonsterVerse now. Why does an F-16 or an F-22 or anything else that we have to fly right up to them or fly right down where they can swat them or hit them? Those are standoff weapons, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big military buff, and I know what these weapons can do. They can stand back with an AMRAAM 6 miles back and not even never lose a jet. You know, those tanks will fire out 1,000 yards of effective, you know, range and never get touched by Godzilla's tail or anything. You don't got to roll up on these monsters, dude. Stop. You know, and Shin did that with the B2s. They bombed him from way up there, but he had those lasers that kind of reached up there. So okay, well they did with their job. They just didn't realize he had that ability. That power.
Mhm.
You know, the movie was very dialogue driven. Yeah, realistic in the sense that it shows what the politicians would do and how they would, you know, how's this going to affect my career and this, just all kinds of stuff, the minutia that you never hear in any of the Toho stuff, you know, just or any of the other Godzilla movies that have been done. You don't see that back. So I think as a standalone, it's a good movie like that. I don't care for the design, I didn't like his little chicken arms.
Yeah.
I didn't care for any of that, you know. He was like the Freddy Krueger of Godzilla, basically. And interesting. And I come out of it, and I was talking on some group saying I think it's probably the most realistic Godzilla movie, whether you like it or not. Is it my favorite? No. But some people just really love it. Some people, like me, I'm just not.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it since, but I saw it at the movie theater. So I did watch back-to-back showings. I always do that when Godzilla movie when it's released in the theater.
Yeah.
I always back-to-back, so I'm missing something because I'm always usually looking past the main action.
Exactly.
Trying to catch stuff, especially when they said there might have been Easter eggs in 2016. You saw the twin fairies.
Yeah.
That looked like the twin fairies, but that had to be put there. And that scene after the Muto goes through
Las Vegas,
Las Vegas, and the camera kind of backs up and kind of twists, and you see him sitting there at the edge of that destroyed.
And then everyone's like, "Oh, it's the fairies," and then later on, it's just firemen or whatever.
I don't know what it was, but it looked like fairies to me. When I look at the twin fairies,
but
okay.
And then speaking of military, I didn't know, Hugo, you were in the military. Thank you for your service, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you. But I think we had a question here. Nick Adams from the Monster Report said, "What does Jim think of the latest news of the Godzilla 2023 movie and the Gamera Netflix series?"
I haven't heard much on either one. The Gamera, you're the first one I just heard it from. So, I've been so busy with work, man, and my life is changing, and I'm moving and moving stuff in and out. People are buying stuff off me, and I got to get their stuff packed up. So I haven't really been keeping up on that. I don't know, man. I'm excited about anything that Kaiju related comes out, man. It can't be nothing but good.
Yeah, no.
Even if it's a bad show, I mean, at least it's something.
It's something, we could
always demand more.
Better
quality.
Demand more, better quality. Everybody's going to have their likes and dislikes and their opinions, but I think we can all agree that, again, 2023 next year, we got a new Japanese Godzilla movie from Toho, and then Legendary is going to be coming out with their next film also. So it's like we're getting a lot of stuff next year.
So it's Kong versus Godzilla.
It's actually called, and I made a joke about this too. Like, man, they must have busted some brains coming up with the title because it's called Godzilla and Kong.
Godzilla and Kong, yeah. That's...
Went from Godzilla versus Kong to, what should we do?
It's some executive don't care about it.
And Kong?
On the nose, bingo, that's awesome. Yeah. But I mean, I want to see Gamera. I would love to see Gamera enter the MonsterVerse. And people say, that'll never happen because they're two different companies. You know what? Yeah. I remember back when G-Fan first started, it was like, we need a new Kong remake. It's never going to happen because the rights to, and look, now we got figures by Xbox.
Yeah.
We got stuff coming out. We got Kong in that universe now.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen. Just the right people got to get together and the money's got to be there.
Yeah, the money's got to be there. The right people got to get together. I think the Gamera is going to be an animated series, but still, I think it's going to be good. I think it's actually called Gamera Rebirth.
Okay.
So we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm excited because I think it's still Dai Studios who owns Gamera, and like I was telling Hugo, and I've mentioned it on the show before too. It's like, there can't be any time better to bring back Gamera than now. And it's like, it just hasn't happened. Gamera has had a longer hiatus than Godzilla did from Final Wars to 2014.
Right.
So it's like, with it being active, Kaiju being active in pop culture today, like really active, like it's the thing, like there's a ton of people that know about Godzilla because of all the new movies and everything like that. So now it's like, why wouldn't Dai Studios be like, you know what, this is going to make us some money. Let's bring back Gamera. Now's the perfect time. And it's like, there wasn't anything for a long time. And then finally, boom, Gamera's back.
Yeah, the movies are making money.
Yeah.
And they're worth producing. And people always said, the Kong thing's never going to happen because it was two different, Universal had and Toho had Godzilla. And it's happened. So
yeah,
and I thought it was a good thing. And a really excellent job that the Kong movie itself, Skull Island, excellent. I'm not a Kong fan. I don't like Kong. I don't like monkeys. They're just too human, man.
Any Kong fans out there?
But I know I'm gonna get it, dude. Just kidding. That's fine. But I love gargantuans, and they're kind of humanoid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but they're creepy, and nothing looks like them. And they're just so creepy. But Kong's an ape,
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't really, he's not a kaiju to me. And that's why I started liking the 70s stuff. Godzilla show stuff better than the earlier stuff. I mean, the movies weren't as well made, of course, acting and stuff like that. The seriousness was gone, but they had weird creatures, man. They had smog monsters, Ghidorah. They had Gigan, was the cool Megalon, Mechagodzilla, of course. They had
Yeah.
everything was different. Nothing was rehashed except
Yeah.
Angulus and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
That would come, but and King Ghidorah a few times. But
Yeah.
it was everything else was like organic based, like earth based. You know what I mean? Like man, it was more of a snake,
Yeah.
serpent type thing. You got the Kamacuras,
Kumanga,
Ebera,
yeah.
based on
We talked about that, and I'll have to send you the link for the show. That way you could just watch it, throw it
Right.
on the background. But when I was on Collect All Monsters and we were talking about the Sea Monster set,
Right.
you know, the X Plus Sea Monster set, I mentioned that Ibera kind of kicked that off at the time to where Godzilla wasn't battling space monsters or aliens. Or he was battling basically just irradiated, you know, Earth creatures. And it was like
Exactly.
you had Ebera, then you had the bugs, and then
everything grew to gigantic proportions. You know.
yeah.
And which as a kid I loved it.
Oh yeah.
And when the '70s stuff came around, I was like, man, that's cool because I like the weird and unexplainable. You know, what I mean? Like Gigan, you know, where does he come from? You know, what is he? You know, he's a cyborg. Dude.
Yeah.
That's what's cool. You know, so
Very cool, man. That's awesome stuff.
yeah.
And yeah, talking about the Gargantuas is like, you know, they were just. It was different than, you know, the reptiles and stuff that we got. You know,
Right.
they were really animalistic, and the fact that, again, you know, Haru Nakajima, who plays Gaira, and
Yeah.
and then the other guy that I forget his name that plays Sanda, but the faces that they have, that's their actual eyes. You know,
Yeah.
it's not
You
like
see when he
it's,
looks in the
yeah.
his eyes goes back and forth, and you know, excuse me, everybody, not everybody, people that talk to me that know that I'm into this genre and stuff, they say, "Oh man, I remember the brothers that forgot to fight. I love that movie." They're not into they're not into Kaiju or nothing like
Yeah.
that, but they always remember the Gargantuas. They love that movie. It's always something that they retain in their memory bank. But it's a cool movie, man. It's so paced so well.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, it's a lot of fun. All right, let's catch up on some comments here. Zillafan, when you went to G-Fest in 2019, the most expensive figure he bought was the premium Bandai Toho Frankenstein monster. It's a great figure and happy with it. That was the when Bandai was doing that premium line there for a while. They came out with the Gargantuas. They came out with Frankenstein. Came out with the Paragon.
I just wish they were bigger. I wish they would go back to the 8-inch scale.
Yeah.
But Bandai doesn't do that anymore. I guess. So.
Cole, what's going on?
Hi, Cole.
Cole's a Gamera fan. And then Zillafan 85, Godzilla and Kong, about to have a buddy cop film. And then Zillafan 85 has not seen Gamera the Brave. Is it worth a watch?
Yes.
Yes.
What's his foe's name?
Zetus?
Zedius.
Zedius.
Yes, I got a small figure of that, and it's super accurate. I mean, it's really cool. And oddly, I don't have a Gamera Brave figure to go with it, but I just saw it in the bin one time at G-Fest. Oh, that's it. Pick that one up, And yeah, check it out, man. It's the special effects are right along the timeline. They were that good,
Yeah.
And
It's got a neat story.
yeah,
Granted, the thing that myself and some other people have issues with the film is that Gamera doesn't have his traditional roar. It's just kind of a mix between that classic like dinosaur roar, and it's almost mixed with also a little bit of the King Kong from '76 roar a little bit too. Like it's not that traditional Gamera roar, but still put that aside though. It's like it's still worth it's worth a watch.
My justification with that is that the Gamera has a softer face.
Yeah.
It was designed more for kids. It was a kids movie, so it's kind of geared towards that. But it's like maybe he's going through puberty. You know what I mean? It's like he's not as big as Gamera.
Yeah,
he's in the heisty stuff. He's smaller, but it's like a teenage Gamera. So maybe his voice isn't there yet. You know what I mean? It's suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, it's just a movie about this fresh new Gamera. He's not seasoned. He doesn't know what he's doing. And
a teenager.
Yeah, and so you kind of get a good backstory with all of that. And even though it was made for kids, there's some scenes in that movie that's like, okay, that's made for kids, huh?
Exactly. I don't know. Japanese have more faith in their teens.
Yeah.
You don't want to put that stuff out there for a lot of people.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. What are some of your you're a guest on the show. What are some of your favorite films? Like if you had to do a top I almost want to do 5, but I almost want to make you kind of compact it a little bit into a
Okay.
top 3.
Top
But
3.
if you had to pick, I'll give you some leeway. Top 5. What would be a top 5 for you?
Oh man! Ding, dun, 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 dun. The scene.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I like about this? I'm not dodging your question, but
Oh, you're good.
when they get to going, everybody watch them. Their heads, they all start nodding in unison. They're like, it's great.
Yeah.
You know, so I did this song for when I got my gigantic
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
And
I remember that
Yeah.
little skit.
yeah, I kind of did that for Richie. So yeah, so it's good stuff. Show and Mechagodzilla's both.
Yeah.
Let's do. Let's just absolutely. I have to. And Monster Zero.
Monster Zero.
Yeah. Man. So it has to be Godzilla movies?
Doesn't have to be.
Oh,
Could be what it Gargantua was definitely.
Gargantua's.
Yeah.
And then probably out of the heist stuff is
Space Godzilla.
Space Godzilla. I remember watching it when I first got it in the mail, and I was like, man, this is awesome, because it was gloomy outside. It was kind of started off, and it was kind of snowy
Yeah.
when I first got it, and I was like, man, the music sucks, you know, and it just doesn't fit. And then the space scene was just horrible. The space scene was absolutely horrible. I was like, what are they doing here? You know, you could have did anything. And you know, the stuff in Destroy or Monster Zero when they're going back to Planet X is better than what they did on Space Godzilla. But you know, I thought it was cool. I like Space Godzilla's design. I like how he encapsulated little Godzilla. You know,
Yeah.
and I thought it was kind of cool. Moguro came across awesome, except in the space scene. But you know, it was just I like that. So I like mechs. You know, so
Yeah.
I can throw all that stuff together. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right movie, but not near my favorite, not even close. But yeah, I think Destroyer. You know,
Destroyer, yeah.
that's that one there because it choked me up, dude. It did choke me up. You know,
Yeah.
I have to admit. I'm sitting there watching, like, oh my god, this is the end, dude. Not knowing that Toho was going to have this idea of
Right.
laying him low for a while, because man, we were getting hit with 84, then we had Biolante, and then all the way through it was like every year was
a new
so
one.
spoiled, yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, a lot of the old guys like me don't like that. Like they're oh, no, show is the king of everything. And
Yeah.
I'm like, but you weren't saying that when, you know, when the movies were coming out. 'Cause I remember back in G-Fan, all you do is go back and read through the pages.
Yeah.
They're like so excited about it, but they were just excited for new stuff to be out.
Yeah.
You know, introducing new creatures and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, I still like the battle scenes of Mothra and Batra.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
on the barge ship out in the ocean, that was just
That was a
absolutely-
cool scene. Yeah.
And then when they're flying around, yeah, she was a little stiff, you know, in that movie. I never thought there was a better Mothra than in SOS. Her wings were much more
Yeah,
fluid.
realistic, yeah.
And then she got
Mhm.
toasted because Mothra, I was like, how do you take down Godzilla? Are you kidding me? Even from the 64, you know.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. You know, I think Godzilla, he's like getting short. He's supposed to be king of the monsters and got two worms to beat him up.
Yeah.
You know, attacking while dodging him, you know. But, you know, I don't know. So when she got smoked in SOS, I was like, I was the only one. I remember seeing it for the first time at G-Fest, at the theater there. And I was like, I jumped down, I'm like, yeah! You know, these Mothra lovers are cheering up, and I'm like, yes! Take that bitch down. Yeah. And they just lit her up. You know, that was it. And I was like, yeah, that's where I would think Godzilla's ray would hit a moth. That's what it would look like.
Yeah.
So at my work, I was brazing at the time, and this moth goes and flew down by me. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. So I took my phone out and I started filming. And I went, and I took my torch and I went, and you can see the flame and it lit this moth up, dude, reenacting. And I posted it. I think on Godzilla Collector Group or something like that. And they took that thing down like 30 minutes. And I was like, come on, man.
Oh,
man. NAAC, or not NAAC, was the animal rights group after him or something. I don't know. He was on his last leg anyways. I took my torch, you could just see the torch coming right in through the camera, dude.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. Zilla fan just saying the words get stuck in his throat. Yes. Yeah, we're just kicking back. We're enjoying some Gargantua and just sharing some stories, you know?
He's getting ready to hit the city, so turn your lights on, open your curtains and everything, so because you don't like light.
Yeah, until later on in the movie to where they're like, no, don't do that, because then he knows that that's where people are.
He's a thinking animal.
Yeah.
Or creature, so he's going to come and eat stuff, yeah.
Now, would you have... It was a scrapped idea, but are you one? I think a majority of people are.
Begging.
Were you for no?
Oh.
For the Gargantuas and Godzilla, because they were gonna planning to do that movie like way back in the day. Like it was an old blueprint idea that they scrapped.
Yeah, because Godzilla was gonna fight everything.
Yeah. Or not.
Probably back 20 years, 30 years ago, I was because I want to do. But as a standalone movie, man, that's almost a standalone movie. It's leave it the way it is.
Considering
have them fighting because they don't really have any powers.
Yeah. Well, and considering how fragile they are in general too,
Right.
Gyra, he's like the first monster ever that the freaking JDF has been like, we did it! We made him! We got one!
Yeah, exactly. This is always a cool scene, where you're just kind of sitting there scoping out the landscape.
Yeah.
Looking for some mummies and stuff,
But, and in the, I don't know if you ever read any of the comics of Godzilla Rulers of Earth or anything like that, but
I think I have them all.
the Gargantuas do actually, both of them take on Godzilla.
Yeah.
In a comic book form, it works.
Yeah.
But if you try to do that in a movie form,
Good point.
I don't think it would be executed the same way.
Good point. Yeah, in comic book form, it worked. And it was enjoyable reading. I do have that.
Yeah.
And in the movie, I don't know, man. What do you do? Have him jumping on his back, act like monkeys?
Yeah.
There you go again.
Because again, you think about it from a perspective like Jim was just saying with Mothra and Godzilla. How the heck does Godzilla lose? Enlighten me. And then at the end of the movie, you're like, it's kind of BS, but okay.
And it's a fan favorite among lots of
it is.
old show people.
Yeah.
The acting and the pace, everything was really good done about it, except that. You know what I mean? I was like, and then she had to team up with Batra in the next version, of it, which I liked because at least she had some sort of weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody had lasers.
Yeah, everybody hated the lasers and the light shows like that, but that was what was it, Kaiju Keith there, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
That was his thing. He liked lasers and he liked mech, and that's why he put all that stuff in there. But it gave her some sort of a semblance to fight Godzilla.
Like, she can actually fight back versus just.
Yeah. She encapsulated him with the scales, and then of course Batra comes in with her like prison beam is what I call it. And walked around. And I thought that was just the coolest.
It was a
idea.
cool scene.
I was like, man, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And plus the filmography was kind of a lot different than it had been. Maybe you saw it in Godzilla versus Mothra, or Mothra versus Godzilla, whatever it was, 64. But it was a wide shot of the cityscape. You had a huge display for them to walk around on and destroy.
Yeah.
And you didn't really see that a lot in the show. Everything was kind of tight. Like these are all pretty much tight scenes with painted backgrounds. And they used the pool there. They had that setup next to the pool and everything in Mothra. But I always liked that with the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
That whole setup that was right there. Godzilla's coming around with his beam when she was taking off flying, and he cut that building in half. And when that happened, the first thought that went through my head was through the two, I knew it was a terrorist attack and a Godzilla movie when the Twin Towers went down. When that tower collapsed, the first one, I was like, that was running just like Godzilla vs. Mothra. In '92. I was like, man, they did a good job of that building coming down.
Yeah.
Without ever seeing a building like that actually come down before.
Yeah. Well, and then again, you talk about that whole landscape and how big some of those sets were for the Heisei area because they had to do it scale to size.
Right.
And again, you speak about the buildings and everything. When Batra has Mothra down for the count, and then Godzilla does show up, Batra's blasting Godzilla, but then he blasts the building that's behind Godzilla that's like this much taller than the actor, and it just comes down on top of him, and it's like that's a cool scene.
And then
right
his nuclear
there.
pulse came in,
Yeah.
Boom, and blows it apart. Would you first see that win in Ghidorah?
Yes, I think
Ghidorah's
the
head off.
pulse. Yeah.
And that was kind of cool, man. I mean, the Heist brought a lot of different aspects to the Godzilla. What I liked about it better than the show, and I'm gonna get killed on this too, was the continuity. From '84, I remember in Biollante, they were going to that restaurant or hotel like that, and there was a Godzilla footprint in the roof.
Yeah.
They made it into a restaurant.
Yeah,
That's what somebody would do.
Yeah.
Just as Godzilla's gone now. He's never come back. He went in a volcano, right? Well, we don't know that. So let's make a monument / restaurant, hotel, casino. I don't know. Indians maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there was his footprint. You see that there, and they just glassed over it and everything. So it was kind of like a.
And then when you went to the shot where they were having tea or whatever it was, it said Godzilla memoriam or whatever it was.
But there's the continuity from 84.
84
So
to
that
89.
started in 89 with Biolante, and then they went and they just kept it going through with Mickey Sabusa, or not,
Yeah,
so,
Mickey
so she went on, doing all that stuff, which got tired towards the end. I agree, but at least there was continuity there.
Yeah, there was
They kept track of him, because when I was a kid, you see the bubbles and stuff like that, and they go, oh my god, what is it? And I go, and I'm thinking as a kid, it's Godzilla, dummy. You saw him like last movie, As a kid, I didn't know how to, there wasn't very good continuity back in those movies. It just wasn't, So, how did Rodan get in that mountain? Is what I want to know. I know she came from a mountain, or they came.
From Ghidorah to Monster Zero. It's it's like he came out of the volcano. Like that kind of makes sense, and they've kind of continued that. Like Rodan's always come from the earth, basically.
Right.
But then in Monster Zero, it's like he is just encased, just in a mountainside.
Yeah.
There's no entrance or exit.
Yeah, I don't see one. Maybe from the other side. But Godzilla, of course, he's down the bottom lake with Myogen or something like that. And the bubbles come. And they're getting.
It's a spaceship.
Spaceship come up. I always thought it was a cool effect with dry ice or something. I don't know what they do, but
and then when the spaceships come up, it kind of all the fog just
comes
up with them.
Yeah, just a great effect, man. As a kid, you didn't see stuff like that back in the 70s. From American movies.
Yeah. And then we're doing good on comments, you guys. Again, if you have questions for me or Jim, just make sure that we're good. And one thing I wanted to touch on was a memory that I have with you at G-Fest too. And I always go back to it, and then we're actually in his intro video as Leslie Chambers when he was asking us questions.
Right.
Started with you, and then I was just walking by.
Yeah, he said, come on
and he was like, hey, come on in.
Hey, come here,
And then so me and Jim, we were just, talking, and he was just asking us questions. And one thing that me and Jim agreed on is one of our favorite scenes is from Mechagodzilla 74. And when Mechagodzilla turns his head around, he's looking at Caesar, and then he's looking at Godzilla. He's blasting both of them, and then he turns his attention to that little village. Just that pan shot is just...
I'm going to jack you up too.
Yeah.
Just for good measure. And it just lights them all up. But but the film and that, dude, and the music, that it was a Masaru Sato. I think
so, yeah.
I like his music as much as everybody's like, Ifukube is the best, and he ain't got. I don't know, man. This guy has so many different takes on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was fresh and good. But the music and the camera, the way it was coming around him, you didn't see that before, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen that in movies, and how it was like the guy was actually holding the camera on the set with him and moving him around, and you see him do all his robotics and stuff, and Godzilla's kind of getting up, Caesar's getting up, and he lets him have it at the same time, and it was just when as a kid I was like, oh, dude, jacked him up, dude. Yeah, that's what I would have done if I was Mechagodzilla, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course Caesar didn't know what the heck was going to happen, even though he had the reflective lenses in his eyes or whatever, but yeah, and then he just kind of like, after that's taken care of, he's like, boom! Takes care of that stuff like that.
Like, oh, there's some people, but
it was the way it was
take them out.
filmed,
Yeah.
And then, right before he starts lighting up, the camera just does that cut zoom real quick. That's done in, what's the second of the prequel of Star Wars?
Empire Strikes Back? No, prequel, Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones, is that? When Yoda's on that ship and they're all out in the desert area.
Yeah.
They're having that battle. They do that same kind of camera photography on Yoda when he's in that ship. They kind of just that zoom in on him. It makes it look real, and it's really aggressive, and it's action packed. I don't know. It's a really good filming technique.
Yeah.
And they did that back in '74 with that Mechagodzilla scene. They just kind of showed him. He's like, boom, boom, he starts blowing stuff up.
Yeah.
I just love that whole scene, man.
No, it's great. Hugo, even though you're off camera, do you have a favorite movie or memory, or like what was your first memory of monsters?
Of monsters?
Kaiju.
Oh my gosh. Well, like Jim and I are close in age, so yeah. Even when I walked in, I was so I was blown away, by the collection, because I'd never seen one in person.
And the thing is, sorry, Hugo, but it's not disarray. It's nice, and you have it nice and displayed nicely to where you come in. I want to look at this. Oh, I can see clearly. I can see Star Wars and some other stuff.
Yeah.
And Godzilla stuff mixed in with that. It's not just like what do you got back there? And when you get to have so much, it's kind of hard to do that. And you've done a really good job with this.
Even though Mike, if he ever watches this, even though he might be the Kaiju King, that's one thing. His collection is so extensive.
Right.
That it's like
not Mike Ross. It's not Mike Ross. I know Mike Ross for a long time.
It's not Mike Ross?
No.
Who are you sure?
Yeah.
Because he has the belt and everything too.
Yeah.
He actually had a WWE championship belt made. A Godzilla monster collector champion or something like that.
That's cool. Yeah, no, Mike's got an excellent collection. I remember when he was starting out doing his stuff, and then like he like warp drive or something. He had, he jumped in. And I was like, dang! Next time I saw it, I was like, dude, that thing exploded, dude. Yeah. And he's got nice shelves up around and everything, and he's got everything displayed really, really nice.
But there are some people that have such an extensive collection that, like mine, you there's almost going to be something new every time you come over. Like you're not going to remember everything. But there are some people that's like their shelves are just stacked and compiled and so compacted that it's like, it's cool. You got a lot of stuff, but you can't really see it.
Yeah, you want to display it. That's why I like the display cases I have. Or not display. I do have display cases, but they're not being used. I never put them up in this house that me and my wife moved into, and I don't know. It was like I felt like something was going to happen. I'm going to have to take all that stuff back down again. I didn't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
I got them all wrapped up in plastic, all nice, but I have them custom made for my figures for the smalls.
Yeah.
For like the high grade stuff, the high grade Bandai stuff that are really detailed. And I took the lesson, and of course I had some Space Battleship Yamato stuff that's small that would fit in those, and they're mirrored back, so they're all Lexian glass, and stuff like that. So I had them all. I bought one that was at a diecast car store. It's selling diecast cars. I was like, hey man, this is for sale. The guy goes, well, I was going to get it repaired, but you want it? I said, yeah. He goes, I'll give it to you for like $25. I'm like, all right. So I just measured the dimensions, and I went to this place, and I had this guy. I said, hey man, can you make me these? He's good. I'll make them for you. So I had them made up like 6 or 7 of them.
That's
I had
awesome.
like a wide one for ones that had like long tails, and another one, and you can just mount them to the wall. So I used that other one as a template, and then I just mark the holes and have the bolts that you put in the drywall and everything like that. Yeah. They're not heavy.
Yeah.
But they look really nice.
Yeah.
And they're just wide enough to where the shells will not sag. They kind of stay.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That is a problem. So see. So back to the question.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
This is moving everybody out of the way. I'm not something to say. Go ahead.
No, I think what it's doing for me today, just is bringing back all these memories. Obviously I saw these kids as a kid, movies as a kid, as a teenager, and now as an adult, and I have a 15-year-old son.
Yeah.
So we've seen all the new Godzilla movies.
And what do you think about when you see Godzilla come out? What do you think about?
What's that, bro?
When you see a new Godzilla movie come out, who do you think of?
Oh, Jimmy.
Jimbo, you seen it? I know you can. Jimbo, there's something to tell you. I go, what? He goes, I know you probably already seen it, dude, but hey, new Godzilla movie coming out. So there's been a few times. A friend of mine, Daryl, he said one day, he goes, dude, there's a new Godzilla movie here at Blockbuster, and I never knew Godzilla vs. Biollante came out.
Yeah.
And they were actually renting that one from Blockbuster. And I says, what? I'm like, Biollante. I don't even know how to pronounce Biollante. I was like, no, I don't know, dude. And so I went up there and looked at it. I didn't have a membership, so I got a membership just so I could rent the movie. That was the first time I ever saw it. But it was like, I do appreciate people getting a hold of me, because I don't know everything. I didn't know about the Gamera movie. Yeah. And people just think that I have this huge collection. I know everything. I don't,
Yeah.
More than most or something. So, no. But no, I do appreciate when people let me know, because I've had family members that don't even care about it. Hey, there's a Godzilla figure such and such at this collector store. Did you know about that? No. So I go up and check it out. Ooh, glad you said something. So I got it.
Yeah. So original memory. Like, what was the first movie that you saw probably growing up? What's one of the movies that stands out?
It stands out, the Godzilla.
Yeah. You don't remember the name of it, but if you give us an idea, me and
right,
Mike
no, I'm pretty sure you guys
know.
know. I saw one of your figures, and I knew it was one of the older Godzillas. And I just remember because you could even see the screens in the movie.
Yeah, sometimes you could.
You know what I mean? You could see it.
Right there, you can see the wire.
The wire, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
On the thing. Yeah, I think a lot of times you use piano wire or something like this.
Yeah.
Because it's super thin, super strong, tensile strength and stuff like that. So.
And I remember, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking of. I think I even bought my son. That's what's been one of the most incredible experiences is watching these movies with my son, and then watching the new ones.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You can turn on another generation.
Yeah.
Like that. See, I never had. My parents would never do that. Like I told you, if my dad wasn't into it, it was stupid. He liked military stuff, and he liked cars, and he liked racing stuff like that, sports. Yeah. So I was into all that stuff too. But I had Godzilla too, and he just couldn't get into it. And I don't put fault him for it, dude. As an adult, imagine it kind of. See, look, you can see the string on that helicopter here going.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
The string wire, whatever you want to call it. This is the only smart guy there. He's like, I'm gonna back up. He's gonna chase me.
I'm just gonna hang at the right height,
Yeah.
to where he can't. I'm not gonna mess up like Bob just did, just flying in low and.
Right?
Bob, what are you doing? He's gonna grab you.
Yeah. Tell him to go up. I mean, the helicopter will go fly higher than that.
Yeah.
It's a scale over thing.
And see, that's what I did to conserve some shelf space. Was a lot of the things that are flyers, like the Hedra there and everything. I was like, to conserve shelf space, if they got wings or they're flying, I got the space. I'll just get those little hooks and screw them into the drywall and then just I got some fishing line is what I used.
Yeah.
And you
And
really
monofilament.
can't see it at all.
No, it's, I don't know, it's like a half-pound test or something like that. Yeah, it's just monofilament. It looks, if you get a black light, you'll see it.
Yeah.
Because it'll look low. But
So which figure was it that you saw?
I think
That-
as a matter of fact, because we were talking about earlier, it was one with Mecha Godzilla in it.
Okay.
And then I don't know if you guys can think of, was it like a standalone? Or
was the one you got, Steven?
No, I meant like, you
Oh,
asked me, I don't know if I heard the
remember.
question correctly,
Okay.
but it was one of the first movies I
Yeah.
could think of. Yeah, and I thought Mecha Godzilla was in it. So,
Okay.
but I don't know.
Would have been Titanosaurus or King Caesar.
King Caesar, yeah, one of
Yeah.
those, yeah.
Okay.
Because there were two of the. If there was any really like hard continuity between films in the Showa, it was the last two films.
Yeah.
Because you had Mechagodzilla and then you had Terror of Mechagodzilla.
Okay.
Yeah, they went right off of that again. I don't know if neither one of them did really good.
Yeah.
It was a cool concept. I mean, I thought, a hidden Mechagodzilla in that, I was like, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
It was a cool idea. But then, of course, Angulus is there, got his jaw broken
Yeah.
by Mechagodzilla.
And then I'm not sure if it's like confirmed or not, but I think originally though that was supposed to be Baragon, but the suit was so because again Anguirus, it's like wait, he's coming from under the ground. He's never done that before. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like
Right,
with
right.
Destroy All Monsters too. You had Gorosaurus coming out of the ground, and you're like,
they even missed it.
what? And they call him Baragon twice in like two different scenes.
Well, that's the media for you. They don't do their homework anyway, so.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we got here. Alteron Kaiju, what's going on, buddy? And then just talking with Zillafan85, and then Mezco just put up the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla set. Still need the Hedra set, but the Destroy All Monsters and Mothra twin sets are awesome. Have you seen those?
I've seen pictures of them. They do look cool.
They do look cool.
They have that little box and everything.
Mhm.
That's the show and stuff, so that's kind of cool.
No, very cool. There's again, with everything with pop culture these days, Godzilla and everything is just booming. You got Mezco, Super 7, X Plus, Bandai's coming back into the game. It's like it's overwhelming to the point,
Well, yeah, I mean, as young fans, trust me, man, I was there. Pick a line you like, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick something randomly, but if you want to get a set of something, so you're not going back 20 years later and the price is quadrupled, fivefold, pick up what you want now.
Yeah.
Bandai's still, relatively.
Yeah. That was one thing I
Reasonable.
mentioned in one of the groups is
Right.
Bandai has always been the bread and butter of Godzilla collecting.
Sure.
It's like no matter what your budget or your
But they
age.
wouldn't come out with a Gabbro. They wouldn't come out with, they wouldn't come out with the obscure stuff. They just kept reissuing other things with different paint jobs, and I was like, I'm done. And once Bandai reduced their size to 6s, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
They're coming out with the same figures. I'm not going to redo my whole thing because I worked so hard to track these down.
Yep.
At first it wasn't. Through the early part of the 90s it wasn't. But about around 98 or so, and getting into 2000, it was hard to get this stuff, man. You had to start getting them from dealers.
Yeah.
Pony Toys was closing up shop.
Yeah.
All these mom and pop stores that were selling stuff, were selling stuff, were closing shop. So you had to really go hunt stuff.
Yeah. And now Bandai is like doing basically everything when you think about it. Like, yeah, sure, they're coming out with like a new Mechagodzilla in '93, which they originally did. I'm pretty sure Hedra's, they keep coming out with all these different Hedra colors and
Right.
everything. And now Varan is one that everyone's talking about. I have that on pre-order, so I'm waiting for that to show up.
Is it crawling or standing?
It's crawling. I'm waiting for Baragon scheduled to come out next year.
Crawling or standing?
They're not sure yet.
Sure.
They haven't released any images.
Okay.
Ebera's getting a Bandai.
See, they didn't have that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the only way you can get to that stuff was model kits.
Yeah.
That's why I started doing model kits. And I started out by doing I was going to do a what was it? A Pinhead from Cinnabites.
Yeah, okay.
Hellraiser. And Halcyon I think had that. And then Billiken had the Predator. And I did a Predator model. That was my first experience with, I used to do styrene models, but the vinyl was
Yeah.
And I talked to a guy, I says, man, how do you paint like this? How do you get all that color inside this little, how do you do? And he showed me a dry brushing technique, and so I learned that and I practiced it. And the figure's kind of been in storage for so long, it doesn't look good anymore. I think I just chucked it. And, but I have pictures of it. And when I got the pictures developed, it wasn't like these. It was actual film, 35 millimeter film. And I took my camera to a Kmart, Sharon. I remember her name because I got her on video because I did a video on that Kmart. I'm telling you, man, I do. So I used to give her the wrong name every time. Hulk Hogan. Sylvester Stallone. I did. And I remember one time I went through the Iron Maiden guys, Dave Murray, Steve Harris, Bruce Dickinson, stuff, Eddie,
Classic Jim.
Yeah, and I would give her, she would, what is your name? And I didn't have a credit card. I'd always pay with cash. And so, yeah, I took a picture of this one day. And she goes, is that yours? And I go, yeah. She goes, this is so cool. She goes, who was wearing this costume? And that was like the biggest compliment because my figure looked like a costume. She thought it was a guy. I said, no, it's a model. It's about about 10-inch model. She goes, no, it's not. I said, yeah, I took it up there to Victorville. And when I used to deliver up there, in Victorville, California, up there desert, I pulled over and there's like the sand hill with some shrubs there. And I just stuck him there, took some shots of him. And it looked good because it was natural daylight. It looked good, It wasn't, indoor incandescent lights or anything like that. And I said, dude, it's a model. I had to bring the model in. I showed her, I said, this. And she goes, oh my God, you did so well. I'm like, I did a really good job of that. So my next model, I went to a Fangoria convention. Remember Fangoria magazine?
Yes, vaguely, yeah.
And I was huge into that in the late 80s, early 90s stuff, and they put on a convention in LA. And all these different, it was just all kinds of stuff. They had the Triceratops from Jurassic Park. Before Jurassic Park was released,
right?
They had it there. They had it in his own room and stuff. I was like, "Oh man, that's awesome!" And it looked as real there as it did
on screen.
On screen, it was sweet, it was very well done. I was like, "Man, that is bad. This is going to be this is an actual prop. We got two of these. This one of them right here." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool, man." And so I walked into the Zilla room and I saw these Godzilla kits, Godzilla figures in there at a horror convention. I was there to go see. Clive Barker was going to be there. The guy who originated the Hellraiser stuff,
right?
And he was put on a little symposium thing. So I walk in, this Japanese guy sitting in there, he has this little booth, and he has Godzilla figures around. I go, oh my God. So I'm going from Bandai to, it was a Billiken kit.
Yeah.
It was a 92 Godzilla, and that was like my favorite, I was like, I love that suit. And I go, look at this. I says, are these hard to make? And he's like, no, these are very easy. Look, you do. And he's telling me this, right? He's telling me this. And he showed me, dude, this no good? It's no good. And it was the slag that you cut off, and you heat up, and you just put together, you glue it if you want, And he was telling me all this stuff. I'm like, man, how much is it? He goes, this one, pretty expensive. This one's $85. I'm like, oh my God, $85. Little Japanese dude. And I says, here I go again, dude. This is expensive. I said, I'll pop on it. And I've never built it, But I learned how to do dry brush. So I thought maybe I could paint it and I can make it look good. So I bought it, and he gives me, you make this is my living. I make these. I said, you built this here? He goes, no, I make these. I said, he goes, I sculpt, I do. I said, whoa, dude, cool. So he goes, here's my card. He gives me his card, and I look at it, and anything that I'm putting in my bag, I'm going to do my shopping, and never thought anything else about it. Just get that model done. Moved to Missouri, start packing and stuff, and dude, look at Pony Toy Go Around card. Here's this, that, and this, and here's that guy's card. Yuji Sakai, dude. Yuji Sakai was sitting there selling these things at the Fangoria convention in LA, dude. And very broken English.
Yeah.
When he said, I make these, he didn't say, I build it. I make these. I sculpt these. I gotcha. I said, oh, okay. And now he's, everybody knows who he is.
Everyone knows who he is.
So I dug and I dug for that card, man, to take a picture of it and show you, he had his little business going, dude. And he came there to LA. And it was a Billiken kit. Of course, I don't know if he did anything for Billiken, but it was a kit. But he tells me, this one here I make this, I make this. And they were just beyond anything I've ever seen before. So
that's cool.
I was into kits for a while. And then X Plus came out in 98, and I got that, it was that Marquette thing, with the girl. And I was trying to get into the classic, stuff like that, like Cordero and those guys.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. The caricature.
Yeah.
It's not totally accurate, but it's a character of the.
Right.
And I got that, and I was like, man. And then X Plus came out with the Polystone stuff. And I got, dude, I want that suit accurate. And then the term, somebody said suit accurate. And I said, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what I want it to be. I want to see everything like on the movie. So I got the Ghidorah, and some other stuff, and I ended up selling that Marquette. It was like number 222. It's my favorite number 22. So I'll never forget the number was 222. And somebody was wanting it, and I sold it to him, not thinking that it might be worth something later on, because it's still stuff that hadn't been really collectors out of yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, then X Plus started hitting around 2009.
Yeah.
There's large Monster Series stuff and stuff like that, and some other stuff. But they had the card stuff, the Gappas, Guilala, Extra Outer Space. We started coming out with that stuff, and those were really accurate. And some of the early stuff is really, really good. So.
Yeah. No, very excellent. All right, here we go. Monster Report. Shameless plug for my live show begins tonight. All right, Nick. We'll definitely be tuning and chiming into that. Ultron Kaiju. Trying to get everything old, new, high, and low. Even have model kits that need to be built. Give it all to me. Show more restraint.
It's hard, man.
And then, it looks like Fred must have showed up at some point. Oh, he's up there in the cat tree. There he is. Yeah, he's the star of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Goji Fan 81, what's going on? You're at work, but dropping in for a bit. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. What do we got here? Talking amongst each other. That's awesome. Thank you guys for being here again. Atomic Blast that like button if you haven't.
Appreciate you.
And then, I think that's it. We're all caught up. So, again, thank you guys for being here with us live. We got Jim Jenkins in the house, G-Fest Original, Kaiju King, whatever you want to name him. I sometimes I still call him Uncle Jim, because Uncle Jim, because that's what he was known as, G-Fest.
Yeah, I love him.
He'll be walking through the halls singing the song at G-Fest.
That's one thing about Godzilla. They always had music, some sort of song or something like that in their things. And this is probably a traditional song of some sort. But I mean, words get stuck in my throat. Was that made just for Gargantuas, or was it an actual pop song?
I'd have to do some research on that.
Mariotti's Prayer.
Because I don't know. Yeah, I think that was
cool.
made for the movie. I think.
Yeah. So.
And a lot of people don't like that song, but you know what? I like that. I like it better than the Mothra song.
Oh, I like it too.
It's
it's kind of repetitive. Of course, Mothra is too, but no, I like it too. I mean, it was cool.
Yeah. Now, let me see. What other questions do I got for you?
I still never answered my 5. No, I did answer the 5, didn't I?
Yeah.
The 2 Mechagodzillas, Monster Zero,
Gargantuas,
and Godzilla vs. Destroya.
Yeah,
those are my 5.
Those are good 5s.
Yeah. So Biollante.
Well, the director,
they love Biollante.
He just passed away.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he directed Biollante, King Ghidorah. I don't think he did I don't think he did Mothra. He did a good chunk of the hate. No, I think he did do Mothra. He did Mothra and Destroya. He recently just passed away, like this last week. And great director, great vision. Especially just with things that they were doing at the time too. Because Godzilla 1984 was the return. Basically just a Godzilla standalone movie.
Yeah.
But then when you really think about it, Godzilla vs. Biollante was a contest. They had people submit script ideas.
Yeah, schools and kids and stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's one way to get, let's get their ideas.
Yeah,
they want to see.
And so that's what Godzilla vs. Biollante was it was an idea from a fan. They tweaked it a little bit to really work into what they wanted to do, but the basis of the story came from a contest.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Jet Jaguar was also a kid drew that. And even though the end result of Jet Jaguar wasn't exactly what he drew, they still took concept from that and integrated it into that character.
Yeah, that Sentai or whatever.
Red Alone.
Takasu.
Yeah. Red Alone was the original character of Jet Jaguar. And then they named it Jet Jaguar.
And, but I mean, Ultraman was always popular. And those movies, of course, they had his own fighter. Everything was coming up out of that era.
Yeah.
So it was only logical that Toho was going to go with a kid-friendly robot, that can make his own size large.
Well, the whole thing of it was to really combat Ultraman at the time, and not combat him on screen, but combat him with people's wallets, because Ultraman was hurting Godzilla at the time, because again, you talk about 66 when Gargantuas came out, that's when Ultraman came out,
Sure.
and it was at the time to where it was like, why are we going to go to the movies, pay for a ticket, whatever it is, snacks, popcorn, and watch a movie when we can just stay at home and every Saturday morning or whenever Ultraman was on, just watch it on TV.
Right.
It's only like a 30-minute show, though. It's like it's the same thing, but I can watch it at home.
Yeah.
And Ultraman was really hurting Godzilla at the box office. Like, Gigan made crap. Megalon made even more crap. It's like, it was bad.
Yeah, it was a steady decline. In audiences, sadly. But I don't know. People, they'll go to 15 Die Hard movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, it's true. Godzilla's always going to have fans, and it's just great that all these movies that we're getting now they're doing well. They're not like making the most bank of all time or anything, but they're making profit. And that's why we're continuing to get that. And again, there's new fans that are coming into it, new generations that have all this new stuff to engross themselves in. And Sandra breaking his leg there.
Styrofoam rock hitting again. But it looked like it would hurt, man. Look at his hair. I love that hair, man. The way it just kind of bounced.
Yeah.
Got that bouncing and behaving hair. Catcher.
Hey, you know what's...
That gets me every time.
Oh, man.
I thought he was going to miss.
And you know what's cool though too, and I was watching a YouTube video about it the other day, is how you have all these actors that we've known from the Showa series, and then it's like even throughout the series of Godzilla, Heisei, Millennium, and stuff, those actors still will make appearances and whatnot, and it's like you get to still see them be a part of that. So it's like her,
sure.
Even though Final Wars wasn't my favorite movie, she was a part of it, and it was like
she agreed to it.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the Russ Tamblyn thing, where he doesn't want it, nothing to do with it, and then you got Linda Miller.
Yeah,
she owns it, and it's good on her, man. 'Cause I had to be like a bodyguard for her for about 2 or 3 hours. One time they asked me, and we just talked.
Yeah,
and she's a class act, man.
Yeah.
She's a neat lady.
I haven't had a chance to meet her, but I hope to.
Very personable, very cool lady. And I talk to her once in a while through Facebook. We'll make comments and stuff. She's really nice. But she did that one thing.
King Kong Escapes.
King Kong Escapes with when it wasn't a Godzilla movie, but she comes to the conventions and she gives everybody her time.
Yeah.
And that's.
And she owns it. She was a part of this movie that has a fandom and a cult following. People love the Gargantuas. So it's like you just wish that Russ Tamblyn would just own it and be like, hey, you know what? Even though it really wasn't like a thing at the time, and I just did it for money, but
that's ego. I think. I wanted to be a movie star. I'm a movie star. I got more than this than just that. Well, you did it though.
And if people appreciate it,
sure.
Why not just embrace it? And Linda Miller, even though King Kong Escapes probably isn't as popular as the Gargantuas are with fans, it's still a movie that at the time growing up, I had it recorded on VHS from like a Easter Sunday morning. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and that was really my first time really watching it, because it was one of those movies at the time. It never popped up a lot,
right?
And it was more rare.
And people dog on the Kong suit in that, and it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
But the Mega Kong was awesome. Came across awesome. The fight scene was awesome, and the miniatures was fantastic.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
In the movie, And even after Kong goes after the boat at the end,
Yeah.
And
it was Gorosaurus' debut also.
Exactly. Sea snake.
The sea snake.
Yeah.
that great scene.
Yeah.
I just love it how he just, when he chucks that rock and just hits it right on the head.
That's it.
Didn't even have to go in the water after that, but he still did. But no, it's cool, and even though people always have opinions and everything, it's like I always tell people, give these movies a shot.
Sure.
If you like the newer stuff and CGI, it's understandable, but always you gotta go back to the roots, of where all this stuff came from. And a lot of people that I show this stuff to, surprisingly, they're like, you know what? That was actually fun.
Yeah, maybe they need you to sit there and kind of explain it as you go through it, like a little bit what it's about,
And I'll have to send you some of the videos. I wish I could have did it a little bit better of a way, but with my setup and everything at the time, one of my local buddies here in town, his name's Travis, but he goes on Facebook, he has a page, and he's called The Critical Drinker. and he has a little bit of Irish in him.
Right.
And so what he likes to do is he watches bad movies on purpose. So Birdemic, you know, bad movies like that. And what he does is he drinks and he watches them and he progressively gets more under the influence. And so one day he was like, you know what? I want to watch some Godzilla movies. And I was like, okay, we can do it. And I can do videos of it and getting your reactions. And then, so we did like reactions to certain scenes. So I was like popping on and off the record and everything. And when a scene was popping up and everything that I knew he was probably going to get a reaction out of, that's when I was recording it. And I had him pick some movies out. And then he had me pick the final one. And I told him, well, that's bad. And so what ended up happening was he picked the original, because it's like he's never really seen Godzilla outside of the new stuff.
Yeah.
So he was like, well, it wouldn't make sense not to watch the original.
So which one did subtitle or Japanese or
Japanese? We watch everything.
That's a good version. Man.
Everything that I have that we could watch with Japanese with subtitles, we did. There is some stuff like a lot of the Heisei stuff. I have no choice but to watch it in dub. But there were some movies though that I did bring that, you know, we flip-flopped a little bit, but it mainly was all Japanese with subtitles. And, you know, he was, after we got done with the first one, he was like expecting, you know, he was like, I'm disappointed. I was expecting to go in today and rip the heck out of these movies.
Yeah.
But he was like, that original 54, that was a good, solid film.
It's
like
it's
a
Japanese version. You know, it sticks with the nuclear theme and all that, and that's what it was about. You know? And that's why it scared the heck out of those people.
Exactly.
You know?
And it was a lot of fun. And I told him that, you know, some of these movies have messages and everything. So he picked the original. He picked the '64 Mothra vs. Godzilla, which I ended up telling him that's a fan favorite. So just letting you know. And then that made him more eager to be like, oh, I'm gonna rip this one apart. I'm gonna trigger some people. And then after that, it was King Ghidorah '91 that we watched, and then Megaguirus from 2000, and then the movie he had me pick was Godzilla's Revenge.
Oh yeah.
So I picked Godzilla's Revenge for that one. I know I have a soft spot for it too.
But people don't like it.
Oh no,
because it's a lot of stock footage. But the thing is, you know, everybody's talking about bullying, being bullied. That's what that thing's about.
Yeah,
you know, and that's the more they were ahead of the game.
Yeah. And so what we did at the time was we would have the movie on in the background. The camera would be on us watching it, and then we would go into these scenes to where he would have a reaction to it or something would happen, and he would just go off on it. And then at the end of it, we would do a reflection and like comments and like, what did you think? What were things? And that's when he really kind of teared into it at the time. And then Mothra versus Godzilla, he was 50-50 on it. Like he sees the appeal, but then he's also like, Godzilla's a bumbling idiot in that movie. He's just falling over on stuff and he's just, you know, this and that. And then he was like, again, like you, 2 worms. Yeah. Like, what? Like...
It's never made sense. Even as a kid, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
You know, you got this nuclear beast, man, and he could just thrash him, and he just didn't do it. And I don't know what their thinking is on that.
But he had a lot of fun that day. You know, he ripped on some, you know, the King Ghidorah movie a little bit. Like he really liked the scenes with Robert Scott Field. You know, when he's just doing the roller skating, you know, and everything like that, and he thought that was a kick. I told him how this movie created a lot of continuity and plot hole problems because of the whole time travel thing.
I remember that going on G-Fan, dude. Yeah, and it was like, just stop with it. You can't
enjoy it.
You can't do that, man.
Yeah.
You know, with any kind of time travel movie, it's just, you know. But Robert, you brought up Robert Scott. I've traveled in the elevators with him a few times.
Yeah.
And hung out in the little bar area, just me and him. You know, just kind of just talking and stuff. And he probably see me in a Walmart or something. He'd never even give me a second look, you know. But of course, I know who he is, and he's another dude, man, that'll just give you all the time in the world when you're there.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he's busy. He does a lot of interpreting and stuff like that.
But he will
show you some time, man. And when it's allotted, and I must have caught him on some downtime stuff, you know, because spent quite a bit of minutes with him.
Yeah, no, me too. You know, I got a chance to talk with him. You know, when I got that poster that you saw in there, you know. he brought those exclusively from Japan. Those
Mhm.
posters weren't available anywhere else
Right.
other than through him. So he brought a select few to bring, and if you wanted him to sign it, he would. And there wasn't hardly anybody there when he was sitting at that table that day.
Right.
And so I got a poster. I got the little smaller print from him,
Mhm.
and he signed them for me. And he's like, you know what? I'm not even going to charge you for the signing. Just
Yeah.
just pay me for the posters.
For the posters,
and
yeah.
there you go. And then we just had a good fun time,
Yeah.
and just great,
He's a real person, man, and he does a lot of good, for the area.
Yeah,
for
for the community and everything like that. It's really awesome. G-Fest does create a good, guests that they have, I should say, are
Mhm.
always just, they embrace it. They take the time to talk with you. It's not just a sign, here you go, sign, here you go. You get to
it's
have that
Comic-Con
interaction.
type thing. That's
Yeah.
there's thousands of people who want to see these people. I guess I kind of understand it.
Yeah,
You just wish that it wasn't like that.
yeah,
At G-Fest, I remember the first few years when they were bringing guests in, they were like, the guests were like, oh my God, there's this many people here in the United States that like our stuff.
yeah,
And they were like so appreciative of them, like, oh my God, you were actually coming over here to see us?
right.
So it was kind of back and forth, like, because I'm not an autograph fan. I never get a bunch of autographs, but I did get Kibichiro Satsuma and Harada Nakajima, my first in 86 or 96.
Yeah.
So if you need to.
Oh yeah, I'm just catching up. Gojira851 replying to the Styrofoam Rock. Styrofoam does not take prisoners.
It doesn't.
If Sanda didn't injure his leg, he would have owned Gyra in their battle.
True.
And that's, in all honesty, probably true, because
That's a good point.
Because when Gyra first, hit him with the tree and everything,
Yeah.
Gyra's a lot smaller than Sanda.
But you can see
Sanda
it.
was just get out of here,
Yeah.
throw him around.
Yeah, he's chucking around. That was a good little fight scene too.
Yeah.
It was just long enough to set up this scene right here. See, there's your Mazer.
Yeah, the Mazer tanks and
Mazer
stuff.
tank there. He's coming down.
And then Zillafan85, give me practical any day of the week, same,
I love it, man.
love it.
You know why? Because there's skill there. There's modeling.
There's skill.
I was a little kid when I started gluing arms on my dad's army soldiers when he built a tank. Here, this is what you need to do. Make sure their arms are the right way. And
Yeah.
I did. And I don't want to see no glue coming out of the seams. So I got real detailed with the way I did my study. Because when you do stuff, do it good. Don't do it with crap.
Yeah.
Don't just throw it together.
And just what a lot of people, say about these movies, whether they're cheesy or whatever,
paper buildings.
they are at the end of the day, but these movies were art, movies are still art. It's just done in a different way. But back then and throughout the entire Godzilla series, really, Heisei, Millennium, all that stuff was built by craftsmanship, and if something didn't explode or fall apart the right way or whatever, and again, they're on a time budget too.
They had to do it again.
They had to build that entire building or that entire set
Right.
piece all over again. They talk about the little trees and the forest landscapes. All that is real foliage.
Yeah.
It's real
Some
stuff
like
that
bonsai,
they clipped and pulled out, and they had to compact it with dirt and just kind of spray it with water. And you only had I think they said a day and a half, maybe 2 days if you're lucky, to where it stayed green before that stuff started to brown and crunch and
Looked like you went through a different couple seasons there within a couple minutes. of
yeah.
time on film.
So it is really crazy what they all went through.
But that's
and,
the thing.
and yeah,
The intricacy of these models and stuff.
it's great.
You hear people that make flippant remarks of, they're cardboard buildings. No, they're not. They're more than that. They actually have to be cut and severed in
Certain
manipulated-
spots.
and explosives put in there so they come apart when the animation of any kind of explosion hits that building. It has to come apart right.
Yeah.
Good scene is Rodan. They used it in Monster Zero too. It was
Oh yeah.
but the buildings, you see the individual
The tiles.
coming up.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was like, how do they do that?
Mhm.
So you didn't see that stuff in American monster movies like Beasts from 20,000
Yeah.
or anything like that. You just didn't see that kind of
Yeah, exactly.
accuracy. And the way they filmed it, the way the screen shot, it's kind of got I don't know.
It's a special cinematography that
Exactly.
they did
Toho
with
scope
it.
is
Yeah,
what it
Toho scopes.
It looks good.
And I even pointed that out when everything happened for Godzilla Day. I don't know if you saw any of the shorts that came out that day. And I want to touch on the Godzilla versus Gigan, not the Gigan Rex one, because that was all CGI. But Toho did like they did with Hedra last year. They did a little Suit Mason short, and they did a whole new Gigan suit. It was the Showa Gigan, but it was a brand new suit. The Godzilla was the Final War suit, the promotional suit that they've been using for like the last few years. And it's showing its wear finally. Right. But it was still cool to see that, and Toho still has that magic to where it's like they could still pull this off.
Oh, they could.
Because they did a side shot of the monsters, and as the monsters were moving, the camera was moving, and it would go behind the buildings, or you would be in the building in like an office and stuff like that. And when Gigan would swipe, the building would just, like he cut it in half, and it was just cool. Like, it was awesome, and it was just a lot of fun. But yeah, no, I feel like, as generations do continue to go on, you do, it's like with anything, if you start a kid with this stuff early, that's what they're going to love and enjoy, and they're going to learn to appreciate it.
Sure.
A lot of kids in these newer generations are going to grow up with
memory,
the CGI stuff, and that's what they're going to prefer. It's just how it is.
Yeah, it's memory, man. Like Hugo says, he shares it with his kid now.
Yeah.
He may not appreciate it at the time when he's watching. Oh, that's a Godzilla movie. Yeah, we see it all the time. So years go by, and then he's got a new generation to give it to, and that gives him joy to do that.
Yeah.
And then maybe Steven will do that with his kids someday. And man, my dad showed me this. Because you talk about your dad taking you,
Yeah.
and that's just what you remember, and you'll hold that to yourself forever.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have that, so I was like all by myself in my own little. My friends wanted to play Batman and Superman. I want to play Godzilla, dude. I had nobody to play with.
Yeah.
So now as an adult,
and that was
myself.
Yeah.
I won't say that.
But and we share those memories, and granted, my dad, I developed into something he probably would never have imagined, but it's thanks to him that I do love all this stuff.
Yeah. Because
my dad, growing up and everything, he knew about these movies, but he liked them, but not to the extent to where it was like his thing, because it was a different time period. But he would go to the drive-in theaters with his friends and stuff, or they'd have a monster movie on, or late night television, creature features and stuff.
Yeah.
He would watch, Sea Monster, the original Monster Zero. That stuff would be on TV, and he liked them. So growing up, just, I guess, random. I don't even know how it came to a thought in his head, but I think he had the original Godzilla on VHS, or he bought it or something, and it was the Paramount VHS, and it was the Americanized version with Raymond Burr and everything. But still, I next time I see him, I'll have to ask him, like, well, so what was going through your mind that day? I was 3 years old, and you were just like, watch this.
Yeah.
And it was the original Godzilla, and you wouldn't think a 3-year-old would really pay attention to that movie for what it was, but him and my mom did say, you used to watch that thing like 3 times a day. We were waiting for that VHS to like break in the VCR.
Yeah.
Because I would, and I'd watch the original Godzilla 3 times a day, and then it just adapted. I remember having Sea Monster on VHS, 84 Godzilla VHS, Gigan on VHS, and it just caught, it was called the Cosmic Monster, not Mechagodzilla, but had that on VHS. Gargantua's Destroy All Monsters. There was a lot of that my dad just recorded for me on TV because I took a liking to all this stuff. And then it just, as I got older, started using allowance money to buy little things here and there. Finally me and Dad just taking that road trip together to Chicago, and we went to G-Fest 3 years in a row, and he even had a lot.
Did you guys rent a Camaro or something?
Yeah, like every year we'd have something like.
That's
and
fun.
it would be a good deal too, because my dad would be looking at the cars and everything. And he'd find good deals on, one year there was a nice Chrysler, next year there was a Mustang, Camaro, and it was just like, and it was a good price per day, and it was like, hey, why not?
Run the miles up on that.
Yeah, and we just had a lot of fun. Now, I don't know if I've ever shared these stories with you though, but it didn't happen the last year we went to G-Fest, which was in 2015, but for 2013 and 2014, going 1 year going, 1 year coming back, we were profiled. And so the first time we were going to G-Fest, it was every time my dad was driving. and I don't know if it's because maybe he had that look, but then they would they would see the plates and everything like that, and they're like, what are these guys doing? And so the first time we got pulled over, they pulled us over and they were like, well, you don't have any expiration tags on your plates. And we were just like looking at the stickers, and it's like, well, it's a rental, man.
Yeah.
And after that, he didn't even continue. He was like, oh, okay, you can go then. Like he felt, we was like, yeah, we got you. And then the second year, going back, we were in a group of vehicles and like 2 semis, all going the same speed. And then my dad was like, watch, bet you they're gonna get us. Yeah, he has that sense.
Yeah.
And he like, they're gonna pick us out and watch. They're gonna pull us over like a mile or 2 down the road. Just watch. Sure enough, they did. Yeah. They actually had him get out of the car, had him go sit in the cruiser.
What?
Yeah, and they were like, okay, well, I won't write you a ticket if you let me look in the trunk. And my dad was like, okay, fine. There's just a bunch of Godzilla stuff in there from G. Like, and sure enough, you open up the trunk. There's Rodan. There's
hold on, time out. I'll let you do that if you give me a whatchamacallit or Snickers or something. You know what I mean? You got anything to eat in your car? You got any chocolate? Hershey Kiss? You know?
But no, those, even though it was, it took away time because again, we're on the road. We're trying to get where we're having to go. But it's like, even though it might not be a positive memory, but still it's like nothing happened from it. It's still something me and my dad laugh about.
That's a good memory.
We share,
Good story.
Yeah. Because it was like, we just came from a Godzilla convention and everything like that. And I'm sure the cop or the sheriff or whatever it was like, that sounds really off the wall. Like, who goes to a Godzilla convention? And sure enough, you open up the trunk and here's this X Plus figure. Here's a bag of Bandais. And
all kinds of stuff. They actually have those things? Yeah, they have those things. Join up.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. And again, you have those memories. And even though, my dad's not, he likes the movies, he's not hardcore into it like this, to where he has, his own stuff or anything like that. But, the first year we went to G-Fest, he was like, you know what? This was really cool. Like, it was a lot of fun, and he had a lot of fun.
Yeah, when talking to your dad, he seemed like he was enjoying himself. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just dragging my kid here. He seemed like he was genuinely enjoying himself.
Yeah,
man, just have fun.
Yeah.
It's funny, I says, because when I first went, my first year, I was like, please don't be like Trekkies. Please don't be like Trekkies.
Oh, man.
And dude, they are. We're just like Trekkies, dude. We're just as bad.
Trekkies, Star Wars fans, whatever it is.
We're just as bad.
Let's see, Zillafan85. Sorry about leaving you guys in the dust on your comments. I'm gonna catch up here. We're just talking. We're just having a good time.
Yeah.
Like, this is. Thanks for driving through. Like, this is just awesome.
Thanks for having to send your jet to get me. Awesome, dude. Yeah.
But Zillafan85, I love Godzilla's Revenge. You know that I always defend that film. It's one of the earliest Godzilla films he ever saw. You could. That was the other thing that he points on that a lot of people agree with, is that the movies that had a kid in them, you could relate to that at the time because you were a kid. You could relate to the kid, whether it was Smog Monster or Godzilla's Revenge. You could just relate to it in that way. No, that's true. Godzilla Train 1090, what's going on? Thank you for being here. Everybody just saying hi to Godzilla Train. Thank you guys for listening to us blabber. Yeah. We're having a good fun time. Zillafan85, a lot of recorded VHS Godzilla films from TNT Monster Vision, Sci-Fi Channel back in the day.
Yep, I got a comment on that.
His dad was the same. Recorded movies on VHS. Awesome. Those were the days. Watching recorded movies. Godzilla, big part of all of our childhoods. And then Monster Report, don't believe him, officer. He's smuggling kaiju across the border.
It's something in the tails, man. Tucked away in the tails.
There was, when we were at the Metal Arts Village, and I would do that Godzilla table and stuff like that, there was actually, there was a homeless guy, and you can kind of tell he was kind of a little out there, and he was like, he probably got cocaine in these or something, like. And I was like, no.
Wishful thinking, man. Sorry, man. You got nothing on you. I'm just high on vinyl, but fresh vinyl.
And then Leaf Claw Studios, what's going on, man? That's Yosh. Thank you for being here with us for Kaiju Chill O'Clock, episode 26. We just got Jim Jenkins in the house, G-Fest Original. And yeah, we're just having a great time talking about just lots of fun memories, topics, figures.
Always.
Jim, you're just such a great, wholesome guy.
Thanks.
And Hugo, it's nice to meet you too.
Likewise, man. Thank you.
Definitely in the future, we gotta, do proper
It's not
get-together,
without the- It's not beyond the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Exactly.
So.
And just have a good fun time. And then I was going to tell you too, since you said that you have bins and a lot of stuff put away, I am kind of, with all the new Bandai stuff coming out, it's kind of reignited that Bandai kid in me, and I'm like, you know what? I love Bandai. At the end of the day, Bandai is just great.
I got all the originals with the tags, stuff like I said. They got price tags on them, like I forgot what they were like, $6.75 a piece, but some of them I painted. Like Baragon, it was the most sought after. Like Greg Cordero, I told you, like, I need a Baragon, and you can't find a Baragon. And I took it. I thought, what is all this blue
on his chest?
He doesn't look like that. So I was like, that was my attempt to go. So I took earth tones and painted it. So that's, if I ever sell it, I gotta let somebody know this isn't like this has been tampered
with. Yeah.
And I says, because this is what he looked like in the movie. I never saw no blue on his chest.
Blue on his chest.
That's just a band, I think, to appeal to kids and the colors, and I guess, and Mecha King Ghidorah. So you had the original Mecha King Ghidorah Bandai, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they reissued it later with it all the wings were painted. Well, I'd already done that.
Yeah.
And I make a joke that they saw me. They come in and checked out my collection.
Yeah.
And saw, dude, that looks way better than what we put out. But the thing was, I didn't know anything different. Like I said, at that time I was getting into vinyl, and I didn't realize that I had those before I had the UG Sky sold me that figure. So I didn't know about what type of paints they used. I was using acrylics, and it let them sticky. But I did a killer job on that Mecha King Ghidorah. I did all the little red lights and stuff on.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome. Now it's 30 years later, and it's kind of
Yeah.
But I did that one. I did Baragon, Mecha Godzilla. I painted him more silver instead of him having blues on him. I'm like, what the
Sweet.
it looked good at the time, but now over time that acrylic paint, or not acrylic, but the what's the other one? Enamel. I'm sorry. I used enamel paint.
Enamel paint.
And it just didn't hold up well.
Yeah.
So
no, it's like when you get back home and whenever no rush or anything, but I may want to see what you have Bandai wise.
Yeah.
Baragon, in all honesty, if you want to end up selling that one, I'd be glad to take, because I've been wanting an original Bandai Baragon.
Yeah.
So I might be dabbling in some of the smaller stuff, because I'll say it right now, I did get a shipping notification this morning for the flying smog monster set, so that's on its way. He's flying. He's probably over the Pacific Ocean right now, dropping his acid and gumming up the atmosphere.
Exactly. That's what he does, man. That's his gig.
X Plus Hedro flying form is on his way.
See, so X Plus, they dabble in that stuff.
Yeah.
They bring out that, like that one right there, and people always wanted that. I wish Bandai would make a flying, I wish this, just give them time. They'll come out with it.
Yeah.
They're never going to come out with Mecha King Ghidorah. They're going to do it, dude. I'm telling you. It's coming.
And so now there you got all these, kaiju who are finally going to be getting Bandai treatment. They're good, again, this will be like the third Baragon, I think. No, fourth if you count the GMK Baragon that Bandai's done, because you have the original, then you didn't have another one till the GMK, and then after that you had the Bandai Premium, that premium line that they did for a little bit, and now you just have another Bandai movie monster series coming out. Ebera's getting a figure. They're doing some Final Wars figures that never got any treatment.
They need to.
Yeah.
People would always ask me, "What you're in the X Plus? Which one do you want to see them make?" I said, "Anything they haven't made already. I don't care. Just make something new." And I think at every unveiling or something, they got to have something that they haven't done before.
Yeah.
That would be if I was working for them, I'd say, "This is what we got to do. This is what people want.
Yeah.
It's gonna sell.
Yeah.
Don't worry about if it's not the most popular or the most coolest looking."
Exactly.
But that was my whole goal with this, and time has run out for me because their X Plus is going off in too many different the forum stuff, I'm not into it.
Yeah,
they look good. I mean, for what they are.
Yeah,
I'm not dogging them on or nothing, but it's not sitting with my collection.
Yeah,
of large monster series. That's what I really. And I kind of got off in the weeds with the 30s and stuff. 30s are never going to catch up to unless they just do away with that.
Yeah, no, exactly, and I'm with you with that too. Like, even though as much as I love Titanosaurus, I'm still kind of on the fence. I know a place I can pick one up, but it's like, I don't know if I really want the Defo Reel, because I'm not into Funko Pops or anything like that, like at all.
I got a story about that. Uncle Jim.
Boy.
Sit back. Uncle Jim got a story for you.
But it's like the Defo Reels, I see those as X Plus's Funko Pops.
Yeah.
You know, like they probably saw, oh look, like these things are just booming, and no matter what toy store you go into, there's a bunch of
people
Funko
like
Pops.
that stuff. People like those
Yeah,
characters.
people like that stuff.
You know, they're super detailed.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and it's a budget too. So it's like if you can't afford the 25 centimeter or the 30 centimeter or the gigantic line,
Right.
here's a nice little about $80 to $100 figure. So I get the appeal that way. But as far as myself and what I like, I don't see myself getting into defo reels either.
No.
It's just personal preference.
Yep.
But what do you got on your Funko Pop?
So anyway, I have usually a black socket like this, beanie, whatever you want to call it. Canadians call it a coupe. Black shirt, usually shirts that fit me usually come black, and black shorts.
Yeah.
And I have a bad habit of wearing sandals with socks, And people either don't care or some people freaking hate somebody who wears sandals with socks, right? I do. I always have. My buddy here, Hugo, we in our area where we grow, we dog each other, man. We talk so much crap about each other, and in a loving way, in disparaging way that we just love each other. It's why we got such thick skin.
Yeah.
Nothing hurts our feelings. Not like a certain generation coming up now that you can't say anything. Oh my God, did you just say that? That's so. We don't do that. So we dog on each other, man. We rip on him. I call him Shrek. When Shrek came out, the big ass Shrek next to me, look at him, big old Mexican dude. Who cares? And he's like, yeah, look at you, dude. You feel like a silverback gorilla, And I am. And I look at him, I started laughing because I got short legs and a longer upper torso, and I'm kind of stocky, I'm a silverback, dude. And so we actually did a little a video with, the Silverback Project, was what we called it. His son had a little app on his phone, and we did it made like it was a trailer for a horror movie or something like that. And we just we did this with his wife, my wife, and his son, and over at the casino in Oklahoma. So with that being said, I do have a certain style of dress. I just dress comfortable. I don't care what anybody thinks. It's just me. And his son picks up on that too, and he sees that. He goes, dude. So I don't know where the store is at. Is it Funko?
It's in Hollywood.
Oh, it was in Hollywood. Is where you're at?
Yeah.
Oh, Hollywood. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he. They made a Funko of me, bro. I guess you can get it kind of reminded me of like Rich Issa when he did his own little
the little 3D printer figure. Yeah.
For him, that was awesome. And so they did one of me, and since I was the singer in the band, they had you could like add like little stuff to him, they had a microphone.
Yeah.
And they put the goatee. I usually wear a goatee, goatee or something like that. My ex liked that stuff, she liked that, so I would always do that. So I wore a goatee and black shirt, black pants, and sandals with socks, dude. I should have brought it in, show you, dude. I hadn't talked to him in about 6 months, and he's bro, I've been dying to talk. I'm to send this to you. I said, I'm thinking about taking a trip, dude. You want me out there? He's like, yeah. And that's when I got a hold of you. I said, hey, man, if you want me out, I'm coming out. So you set your jet, and I flew out here. So anyway, and he goes, dude, I got something to show you, man. Steven made this up for you. And they got, did it go on a computer or something like that? Or
yeah, they had these computers. You could go in there and you basically create it on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they did it. It was the Funko box and everything.
Yeah.
And he says, he prints it out, and he gives it to him. They were closing or something like that. The time it was kind of rushed.
Right. Yeah. Well, it was like 6 o'clock.
Right.
And then they just wanted to get us out there, pay for the ones that we had selected.
Yeah.
So we were kind of rushing.
So so they rushed him out and everything. So he never had a chance to check it. Well, it didn't come with a microphone. They dissed him on that. And my last name is Jenkins, right? J-E-N-K. It's Jerkins. So he tells me that, and I see it. I kind of chuckle about it. I didn't know it was a mess up. I thought, okay, that's Funko. How they maybe mess with your name or something like that. They can make a funniness out of your name, so maybe I'm Jim Jerkins, So. Dude, I'm so you just apologize. I'm so sorry. It's not supposed to be like that. I'm like, dude, that makes it even funnier. It's no big deal.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we got here? Looks like we got a bot in here.
What?
Go ahead and report that person for me, guys. I like how you guys do the damage control for me, since I can't do it on my end. If I had a better setup. I need to get the controller, and the defos are awesome. That was one thing I was disappointed on, was the X Plus controller, Planet X.
Oh yeah.
They didn't put it on the US Rick site. It was only Japanese
stuff?
Yeah, so I was like, dang
I
it.
know a lot of people who want that. You know.
Yeah. So I guess if you want it, you got to import it.
So is it 12 inch or 8 inches?
I think it's like in a 12. It looks from the pictures, it looks like it's like 12 inches or so. But what I like to toss out there is, so you're gonna make the Planet X controller a Japanese exclusive, but then when you did Serizawa in the diving suit it seems like it would be reversed. It's like, let's make that, because it's Serizawa, let's make that the more like exclusive to Japan versus letting everybody get it. And then it just seemed backwards to me.
They should make it for everybody.
Right.
I would really like to see their sales numbers, like Japanese versus American.
Who buys it more? Leaf Claw Studios, Yosh, never got into Funkos. Nothing wrong with them, just not for me. Yeah, they're not for everybody. Exactly. Zillafan saying he has a few Funko Pops, but they're not his thing either. And then sad song, There Goes the Brothers. Oh, yeah, you probably heard it in the background. Yep. Gargantua's went into the volcano. Movie's over. And then
sad song, There Goes the Brothers.
Yeah.
Good stuff right there. Yes, love it.
Oh, man.
There Goes the Brothers, man.
And then the extremely random volcano out of nowhere took our boys.
You see it when it comes up out of the water, it kind of bounces like. There's just a little shake there.
And then Ultron saying, Leaf Claw, are you a bot? Mecha Yosh. And then Leaf Claw Yosh, you guys are just talking amongst each other. That's awesome. And we're just having a good time. What are we at? Oh, man, we're at the 2-hour mark. First segment's already over. Now, I want to ask, if you guys have time or anything, I appreciate you guys being here, but if you guys want to be for the rest of the segments too, that's fine. But if you guys are on like a little bit of a time schedule, I understand.
We are on a time schedule. What's it with you? What's it look like for you when you got to get your boy right?
Yeah.
I don't know what time he's got to be at a gig at some. I'm not sure what time.
Okay.
It's up to you. So
right now we're good.
Okay, right now we're good. Okay, cool. So we're probably going to continue on to the second segment, which is going to be a lot of fun. And just so you guys know it here, again, not a lot of interaction, but that's okay. You guys just were hearing us talk, and those 2 hours just went by. For the first segment there. But what I do on the second segment is I switch to Facebook Live.
Okay.
And then what I do on there, because Facebook doesn't ping me like YouTube does for anything, I'm actually able to turn the camera and we can watch a movie all together.
Oh, yeah.
And so since all three of us are here, we could pick a movie that we could either make some funny commentary on, like do a Mystery Science Theater thing on. So if I want you to pick it though too, since you're the guest. So can you think of a movie that you kind of have a lot to say about, or have some things you can say about? It could be anything. Could be Showa, could be Heisei. We could even throw on a bad Heisei dub,
Yeah. Then I'm drawing a blank. You? I mean,
is there anything you would like to watch?
I think you guys picked the one I want to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care, dude.
Monster Zero, Destroy All Monsters.
Ooh.
Like, I feel like we should maybe pick something Showa because we're such big Showa fans.
Yeah. Godzilla's Revenge.
Godzilla's Revenge? Want to do Godzilla's Revenge?
Yeah, let's do that.
Dub?
Yeah, dub.
Okay.
Dub, dude.
All right, so you guys heard it first. We're going to do Godzilla's Revenge over on the YouTube segment next. Again, guys, thank you for being here. Kept up with your comments the best you can. Thank you for just listening to the stories, listening to Jim talk, and we had a good time. And we're gonna watch Godzilla's Revenge over on Facebook.
Yeah, we're gonna make fun
so
of that stuff.
You guys don't want to miss that. Give us some time to transition over. I don't know if these guys are hungry, but I can easily throw in a pizza or something if you guys are hungry a little bit. And so we can get that started, and hope you join us over on Facebook for the second segment of Kaiju Chill O'Clock episode 26. But like always, you guys, we are Godzilla fan freaks. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Atomic blast that notification bell.
Atomic blast
it. Don't forget to like and follow Godzilla Fan Freaks on Facebook, and don't forget to follow Godzilla Fan Freaks on Instagram as well. That way you guys don't miss anything. Jim, thank you for being here. I'm glad that you guys are still able to stick around for a little bit longer, so the party's not over. And this was just a lot of fun. So thank you guys for being here. And so see us over on Facebook next. But if you're not able to follow over, that's okay. And we'll see you next week. I think I saw one comment come on through. Let's see. Zilla fans, since you're about to wrap up, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving and sayonara, everybody.
You too. Have a great time, man.
Yes.
Be safe. Just be safe.
Yeah. Monster Report, good avoiding the dreaded footage. Yes. And then also, and then Yosh saying also if you want him for the Instagram segment, yeah, we could do a collab on the Instagram. That we could do that. That's perfectly fine. And then have a great day, everyone, from Alteron. And I think that's good enough for us, you guys. So without further ado, you guys, we are Godzilla Fan Freaks. If you're not able to follow us on Facebook, we'll see you next week. Jim Jenkins, thank you again, buddy.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll catch you later, and we'll catch you over on Facebook if you're going to transition there. See you later.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah.